Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, I had to be honest, I have no idea what took place. Everything was great. I look back and all of a sudden everything is off. And I'm like, oh God, did they shut my channel down again? It seems like my channel is up, so let's go with it. I don't know how far I was into on the last video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from scratch. I apologize if you guys were here before. I'm going to keep it quick. In fact, I'm going to try to keep it under 10 minutes. And I'll take a few audience comments. Jesus Christ, it screwed me up. So when there were this guy, this gentleman right here, this is Mossadegh. Mossadegh was, I think, his premier. Mossadegh was democratically elected in Iran. The problem with Mossadegh, he was Time Magazine of the Year. The guy was supposedly very popular. People liked him, except for, let's say, some plutocrats, unless some governmental entities who were working at the behest of those plutocrats. Mossadegh, oddly enough, rationally enough, wanted to use the resources of Iran for the people of Iran. No shit, that's amazing. He wanted to use the resources of the country to which he found, or he was in, for the people of that particular country. Now, for all of the United States protestations of democracy and freedom and everything else, it's nonsense. Ultimately, the other countries, especially BP, Britain, and the United States, worked in coordination to take him out that seat, foment a revolution, foment a resentment, get him out that seat, and they installed a Shah, a strongman, a brute, a despot, into that spot, who they could essentially interact with and work with. They created a fascist state in the Middle East because that fascist state would allow them to procure the oil at a very decent rate. That's flat fact. Don't take my word for it. I'm going to put the link in itself. This is common knowledge at this point. The CIA has even come out and said, yes, we've done this. The Iranian people eventually overthrew that Shah. Got him out of office. Unfortunately, the only problem with overthrowing Shah is that the person who took over was a strong man. Was a religious maniac. I'm sorry, trying to do two things at once. Check my levels. Yeah. Was a religious maniac. And in being a religious maniac, had somewhat of a theocratic rule. That said, there were devolved powers. There was this kind of, you can call it this kind of governmental thing that underlied the fact that this theocrat was in office. Ayatollah Khomeini. Now, the United States has been after Iran ever since. You may hear people say, well, we had a great relationship with Iran. Israel had a great relationship with Iran. That's because we put a Shah, we put a brutal despot into that spot who was perfectly in line with our orders, or perfectly in line with the United States interests. He was not in line with Iranian interests. He didn't care two shits about Iranian interests. He cared, my pockets are getting fat. These countries are working to make sure I can stay in power. The world is great. Well, they got him out that seat. You can understand the Iranian people having a bee in their bonnet about the United States' behavior in the Middle East, especially with regards to their country. Now, I've made the point that Donald Trump has been working to topple the Iranian regime, or the Iranian government. And not just topple, militarily topple if necessary, that government, that has become the United States policy. There have been other YouTubers that supposedly think they know better than what I'm saying in this case. I've been following this story going all the way back for almost a year. And the entire time, Donald Trump has seemed to set his sights on Iran. It would be insane that Donald Trump would surround himself with such Iranian warhawks if he wasn't setting his sights on Iran. And beyond that, you've had people come out saying that it was a policy of the United States at this point. John Bolton for one, and Rudy Giuliani for the other. Jesus Christ. I have to get my other mic fixed. This mic annoys me. I have another one, but the other one stopped working after a update. Alright, so right here. This is Hero Hedge. President Donald Trump is committed to regime change in Iran, says Rudy Giuliani, Trump's newest controversial attorney, although perhaps not for long, and longtime informal advisor. That's funny because Trump can't keep people in because they're so corrupt. Speaking to reporters after a Saturday keynote to the Iran Federation Freedom Convention for Democracy and Human Rights, that is Orwellian. I said that before, but it is. In Washington, Giuliani said, we got a president who is tough, who does not listen to the people who are naysayers, and a president who is committed to regime change as we are. In other words, pulling out of the Iran deal is now being conflated with regime change in Iran. The videos are below. You can see it for yourself. But hey, maybe HA knows better than Rudy Giuliani. Maybe he knows better than John Bolton. Take a look at this. So this is John Bolton, National Security Advisor. Rudy Giuliani has taken over in the sense of Trump's defense team. Yeah, and I want to say something else about this coming forward. But let's just, John Bolton.
Viable opposition to the rule of the Ayatollahs, and that opposition is centered in this room today. I have said for over 10 years since coming to these events that the declared policy of the United States of America should be the overthrow of the mullahs regime in Tehran. The behavior and the objectives of the regime are not going to change, and therefore the only solution is to change the regime itself. And that's why before 2019, we here will celebrate in Tehran.
Before 2019, we here will celebrate in Tehran. It sounds like he's talking about regime change too, and that's to the National Defense Advisor. But hey, maybe HA knows better. What about Mike Pompeo? This is Politico. This goes back all the way to 2017. Trump allies push White House to consider regime change in Tehran. Well, he's Secretary of State now. The policy of the United States should be regime change in Iran, said Tom Cotton, who speaks regularly to White House officials about foreign policy. I don't see anyone can say America can be safe as long as you have a power in a theocratic despotism, he added. I thought he was talking about Saudi Arabia, but apparently he's talking about Iran. Cotton advocated a combination of economic, diplomatic, and covert actions that pressure the Tehran government to support internal domestic dissent. He's talking about creating terrorism inside that country in order to foment a revolution. That's what he's talking about. Just so we're clear. Essentially what they did in Libya and what they started to do in Syria when they started putting in terrorists and stuff like that to undermine the government. That's what they're talking about. Let's be clear. In the country, he noted that Iran has numerous minority ethnic groups, including Arabs, Turkmens, Balkhos, who aren't enthusiastic about living in a Persian Shiite despotism. As a member of Congress, Trump's CIA director Mike Pompeo last year publicly called for congressional action to change Iranian behavior and ultimately the Iranian regime. And Derek Harvey, the Trump National Security Council's director, Middle East Affairs, told the audience at the conservative Hudson Institute in August 2015 that the Obama administration's hope of working with moderates to steer Iran in a friendlier direction was a misread of the nature and character of the regime, whose structure, he said, he has carefully studied. He's carefully studied. He knows what he's talking about. Look, there's one person after the next who is in Trump's ear pushing for regime change. I'm picking on HA here. Because I think he's a friend of the show and I get slightly annoyed about this part because I don't think he's being honest with himself. Donald Trump is pushing for regime change. I don't know how else can you put it. Netanyahu is in his ear. He's been pushing for regime change going back for God knows how long, ever since he's been a baby. Mike Bolton, I don't know why I keep calling that man Mike Bolton. John Bolton, that maniac, wants regime change. He's in the president's ear. Mike Pompeo, he wants regime change. He's in the president's ear. Rudy Giuliani, he wants regime change. He's in the president's ear. Tom Cotton, he wants regime change. He's in the president's ear. All of these people are in the president's ear. This list is not exhaustive, but this is a long list of people who are pushing for the idea of regime change in that country. But I'm sure AJ knows better. I'm pretty sure he knows something I don't. This is, and by the way, before I end this, the two maniacs, or one of the other maniacs that's pushing for it, Netanyahu. Just remember, Netanyahu is a liar. Anytime you see his face, you should think this man is a liar. Anything that's coming out of his mouth is a liar, especially if he's talking about some kind of action abroad. This was the same guy that went into Congress telling people that Americans are going to be welcomed in Iraq, and that people of Iran are going to look at the fruits of what's taking place and say, yes, we need to do something different. Fact is, when the United States attacked Syria, do you know that the people of Iraq protested the fact that they did that? The people of Iraq are not even for what you're talking about. It's just you, maniac. This guy is a liar. Let's take a look. I'm sure a few of his lies, or two of them anyway.
Netanyahu warned the United Nations of an Iranian nuclear bomb. The imagery was simplistic, and so was the message.
By next spring, at most by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage.
That's called a lie. That's called a lie. He's been screaming that going back to 1992, that Iran was on the brink of a nuclear weapon. Fact is, cables from his own security services had said that Iran was not in a stage where they were looking for this kind of bomb. That yes, their capacity per se was getting better, but it wasn't necessarily in the direction of a bomb. He knew that. He's lying at the moment. He's out here lying. Let's take a look at one more. And I always say never forget this, because this is dramatically important in the time that we're talking.
If you take out Saddam's regime, I guarantee that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region. If you take out Saddam's regime, I guarantee that it will have enormous positive reverberations on the region.
Did taking out Saddam Hussein have enormous positive reverberations throughout the region? Did it? No, it didn't. He's lying. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a biased actor that wants the United States to leverage its military to attack Iran. That's what it boils down to. All of these people are liars. So, yeah, you should be very wary of the people who are pushing you into the war and people who are whispering in the reality show host here. And if you're going to say that Donald Trump is not looking for a war, if you're going to say he's not looking for something to get that regime out of that seat, I don't know what you're using. I don't know what you're using. Let's see. Do you realize that the majority of Iranians, 70% of it, 35, wants regime change too? They don't want to live in a theocracy, but HA is wrong. Yeah. Then let them do it. Then let them do it. What is that? Like, the overwhelming majority of the Americans are not on board with what takes place from the standpoint of politics or media in this country. It is up to the people of the country to change it. What are you talking about? What do you expect the United States to do in this regard? What do you expect the United States to legally do? What they want in that country, I don't give a shit if it's 90%. That has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with this country. They can handle their own affairs. That's not up to us. Yeah, HA is wrong. He doesn't know what he's talking about. My point is, just so you can be clear on my point, because what you said never addressed my point. The United States wants a war in Iran. The United States is trying to regime change. All of these other people who are around them are pushing for regime change. If HA is making the argument that that's not what's taking place, that regime change is not what's taking place, then he's flat out wrong. And fact is, your message here doesn't touch it one bit. Doesn't touch it one bit. And by the way, I don't even accept it to be true. I have no idea. What I will tell you is the majority of Iranians don't want the United States and imperial power coming in, blowing the shit out of them, and murdering a bunch of them. I don't know how many Iranians want that. Heller Sinclair, can Jamal name a member of Trump's cabinet that isn't a known liar or thief? No, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. Bernard Foster, thank you very much, Bernard. Leave a message. Leave a message. I want to comment. Beltazar, the guy who married his second cousin, redefining the phrase kissing cousins makes terrible foreign policy decisions. Ayatollah Yusuf. Beltazar, everybody's not going to know that. Ayatollah Khomeini, the one who's in charge, the theocrat that's in charge. Yeah, not everybody's going to know that. You're using a bougie joke, but I like it. 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 Let's see. Adored Pariah. The guy hasn't even heard of PowerPoint presentation. He bought his own props. You talking about the bomb? He bought a thing with a bomb on it and said boom or some stupid insane. That's amazing. They may have Sunni dispositions, but the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Israel are full of Shiites. That's funny. In fact, I need to show that so people can see that. They may have Sunni dispositions, but the United States and Saudi Arabia and Israel are full of Shiite. That's hilarious. Danny Knapp, I am Solar. Well, we've killed many leftists in favor of tyrants over the world, so it could happen here. You'd like that. It could happen anywhere, man. No country has a right to exist per se. Countries are countries. There are people who are crewing around in a particular area. We've put in tyrants and despots all over the world under this idea of fighting communism. It is fucking insane. We've murdered many leftists. Look at what took place. I give a perfect example. Vietnam, the country that's beside Vietnam. We put in a despot there. South America, we were putting in despots. The reason they were called banana republics is because we were putting in despots and using the commerce, using the resources from those particular places, getting those things at dirt cheap prices for the American population. Yeah, redneck economics. What's happening in redneck economics? And leave a comment. I like it when you guys leave comments. I like the comments. Elephants on coke. The Iranian youth don't like their own regime and have positive view of America. God knows why. Because it's the difference between us and them. It's everything looks sunny on the other side. If we bomb them, then we'll have another group of radicalized Muslims youth hating America. Yes. I am Sylar. The argument that you need to make and the argument that you need to win, it's not how many people hate their government. You can have a lot of people in the United States who greatly dislike their government. So what? That's nonsense. The question becomes, will us murdering a lot of people over there somehow change things for the better? And the answer is no. It is up to them in the same way it is up to us to deal with the affairs of our country and our state. If our consciousness have not risen to the point where we can deal with the affairs of our state, then that's on us. That's on us. The idea, did we make Iraq a better place? No. Do you even understand that the Shah and the brutal Shah that was put in was at the behest of us? We did it. If you're so fucking happy about the way Iran is, or if you really want Iran to be different, then hey, maybe not invading the country in the first time, or maybe not creating this kind of uprising the first time around, toppling the government the first time around. Maybe that would have been a better place. Unfortunately, you would not have been able to get your oil at a dirt cheap price if you would have done that. U.S. business is clearly bombing the Middle East. Yeah. And Trump is lining up to do it. And anybody who says otherwise is not paying attention, or they're biased in like nobody's business. It is impossible to look at the scenario and say that the policy of Trump is not regime change. It is impossible. And hey, don't take my word for it. Take Rudy Giuliani's word for it, who's in Trump's ear. Take Mike Pompeo's word for it, who's Secretary of State. Take Tom Cotton, another one, who's whispering in Trump's ear. All of these people in Trump's ear. Take Benjamin Netanyahu, who they're line in line with policy, so much so he's moving it to Jerusalem. All of these people. But wouldn't getting us out of Obama's Iran deal be a good thing? What do you like about the deal? I like that it keeps us out of a war. I am Sylar. That's what I like. Whether you realize it or not, dude. Do you realize that the reason why the European countries are so adamant about this is not because they love Iran. It's not that, we think Iran is fucking awesome, so we're going to hug Iran. And I guarantee you, they don't want to necessarily be in this kind of economic fight with the United States. They don't. I guarantee you. The reason is war. That's what I'm getting across to you. When this deal, the reason why this deal was signed is because the United States had said, we're not going to allow you to get a bomb. And saying we're not going to allow you to get a bomb, then the policy changes to, is Iran developing a bomb? You've just created a red line. If Israel is saying, we're not going to allow you to get a bomb, and if Israel strikes Iran, then the United States is also going to attack Iran, because they're not going to let Iran attack Israel without doing anything about it. The reason this deal was important was because it was a stopgap. The reason Trump wants to get rid of this deal is because that deal was a stopgap. You can't attack Iran. You can't try to regime change if this deal is in place and if Iran is holding up to the guidelines of this particular deal. It's not the deal that's fucking awesome. The deal is invasive as all hell could be, and most countries would not even allow some of the things about this deal. Do you know they allow regulatory committees to go stomping through their country? I mean, it's fucking insane. I gave a list of things that the deal actually did. But my point is, it's not the specifics of the deal. It's the deal itself creating a stopgap from allowing the United States or Israel to attack that country. That's the point of the deal. Honestly, that's the point. That's the big thing. The moment that the deal goes away, and the moment that right now, Israel's making this argument. These guys are still trying to create missiles. Benjamin Netanyahu gave up that lying fucking speech saying that this is what they're trying to do. This is evidence that nobody has ever seen before. And the entire world community came out and said, no, that's the evidence that was there, which is why we did the deal in the first place. It has stopped their enrichment. It did what it was supposed to do. I am missing the issue. How are you breaking a deal? What is your even justification for breaking a deal at this point when everybody is living up to the guidelines of the deal? All the other countries have said so. What they're concerned about is the United States coming up with a reason to attack that country. We attacked a country that did not have weapons of mass destruction and murdered 1 million people. Even if you don't want to say 1 million, let's say 500,000. They're doing the same for Iran. That's the truth. That's what it boils down to. Getting rid of this deal was one of the first steps in doing that. That's my point. Now, you can say, the Iranian people don't like their country, whatever you want. Fair enough. That's up for them to change that. That's up for them to make a decision on what they want to do for their country. That's none of my business. You can even say, I don't even like that deal. I think that deal is bad. I need to understand why that deal is bad, but you need to explain why. If all of the other countries are saying, yes, they're living up to the agreement, what's the issue? What are you using to break it? The point of the deal is not purely the deal itself. The point of the deal is that deal stops a war, which is why I'm for that deal. And by the way, stops a war not because Iran is doing something, because us. We have a bunch of maniacs who are in this administration and even in the previous administration that was perfectly okay with coming up with a reason to attack that country. Do you realize that George Bush left his own devices? Probably would have did something similar. Baltazar, literally booming. Literally booming is right. How about we wait and see what happens before you sound like mainstream media about Trump going to war with North Korea? Trump derangement syndrome is bad. It's not Trump derangement syndrome, dude. I think what you're doing is magnificently biased. You have all of these people. So Mike Pompeo, him saying that Trump wants war, or he wants to change the regime. He's wrong. He's not. He's Secretary of State now. You think Trump put him in just for shits and giggles? Okay. Rudy Giuliani, brought onto the defense team. He says Trump is open for regime change. You think that's shits and giggles? Okay. John Bolton, that maniac, but shits and giggles. Okay. You think all of these people have aggregated around Trump, all of them, with the very specific objective of regime change in Iran? And your response to this is, nah, dude, I think you're trying to sound like mainstream media because you're saying what's obviously true. Look, if mainstream media says the sky is blue, sometimes the sky is absolutely blue. I don't necessarily know what they're saying about Trump. I don't necessarily pay attention to all that much mainstream media. What I do pay attention to is who are the people that Trump is aggregating around himself. People, a policy. If Donald Trump is bringing in a bunch of maniacs who wants to regime change in Iran, then I'm going to take those people at their word that they want to regime change in Iran. I don't know what you're using to come up with this. You sound delusional. I'm sorry. And Skylar, I'm not trying to attack you, but come on. Let's be honest. You can support Trump all you want, but be honest. Be honest. When Sanders is falling into this Russia nonsense, I say Sanders is falling into this Russia nonsense. I don't like it. I can be honest about something that the person is doing that I don't particularly like. Are you looking for war with Iran? Are you looking for war with Iran? Now, if your answer is yes, I'm looking for a war with Iran, then the world is great. There's no issue. But I strongly suspect that the reason why you're pushing back on me saying all of these things that are flat fact true is because you don't like that idea of war with Iran either. That's what I suspect. I strongly suspect that. Look, I would like people to accept something, because I've gotten criticism for a particular thing. If I show something of Pat Buchanan, or if I show something of Rand Paul, the reason why I'm showing these things is not because I like each and everything that the person does. I don't consider myself a Democrat. I don't consider myself a Republican. I don't consider myself anything. I will make the point that a lot of you also are in the same boat where you don't necessarily exist within the political parties themselves. So stop affiliating yourself from the standpoint of labeling yourself one or the other, or the degree of one or the other. Escape that trap. Escape that muck in the mire. Be something fundamentally different. If something this right-winger is saying that I like, and he's talking about war, then yeah, I want to use whatever bat or brick that I can use to hit this idea of whatever that war is. So if Pat Buchanan is in that thing of war, great. If Pat Buchanan is being racist about something else, then no, we have problems. I'm making this point that, and I'm talking about you, Scholar. If there are elements of my show that you like, but you don't necessarily like elements when I'm talking about Trump, then it sounds like you were affixed on a person, not necessarily on anything else. And I think you have this idea that Trump is going to be this thing of hatcheting down the system. Only thing I would say to you is, don't accrue yourself around a personality. And I'm saying this from the standpoint of somebody who loves Sanders. I like the guy. If Sanders started to deviate from my own perspective of things, then of course we're going to have issues. Let's be honest. Come to Jesus. he is lining himself up for a war. He's lining himself up for a war. Be honest. You can like Trump, but be honest. Be honest. It's like, come on. Balthazar 228. The only possible good ending would be if bombs destroyed the oil that they were forced to go green globally. There's no other good scenario. You know what's funny about that? If the United States said we're going to do a green energy deal, that's what we're going to do. And in saying we're going to do a green energy deal, they put it in the context of a defense thing. Look, we need to stop getting our oil in this thing because it makes us dependent and it creates problems from the standpoint of foreign policy. So we're going to take a certain amount of the money that we're wasting on defense and we're going to actually put it into a green energy new deal all across the United States. All houses are going to have solar panels, and we're going to try to get each house to be energy independent. We're going to be able to take a bill from a person, meaning that person's not going to have to pay an electric bill, and that person even may get something back. And do that. Meaning, pull ourselves from that particular country, from being ensconced in that country. We have the capacity to do it. We just don't do it. And fact is, I 1% of me had a hope that Donald Trump would do something different in that office. And not so much. Not so much. Brahm, SL1. The Iran deal wasn't perfect and could have also led to war. Getting rid of the deal while increasing sanctions brings us close to the war. If you don't believe that, what was the last part? If you don't believe that, you might be a moron. Brahm, I'm not calling him a moron. Sanders gave our money to the DNC. He didn't give our money to the DNC. Like he was getting us into war with North Korea. I'm just saying, step back from the Trump hate. Siler. What does Sanders... Okay. Assume for the moment you're right. Let's say you're right. What does that have to do with Trump potentially getting us into war? Let's say you're right. Let's say everything you're saying is right. Let's say Sanders... I don't know. Let's say they caught Sanders with a hooker. And let's say when they caught him with a hooker, he was having his butt cheeks, licked out or something like that. She was like between his cheeks. Even if you say that and introduce that to what we're saying right now, that doesn't stop the fact that Donald Trump is lining us into war. And if we're talking about Trump hate, you're saying it's hate by me saying that he's getting us into war. Then that means you don't necessarily like this idea of war. I'm saying step back and be honest. That's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. I don't understand why you can't see that. I don't understand why you can't see it. Getting rid of that deal is a prelude. If Donald Trump wants additional sanctions, do you realize that Donald Trump can come out and say, look, these guys are trying to get us into these guys over here. They're trying to come up with nuclear weapons. He could say that. He could say that tomorrow. Netanyahu is saying it right now. What stops the United States at that point from saying, we said we're not going to let Iran get a nuclear missile, and then Iran is trying to get a nuclear missile, and start ramping up sanctions, increasing sanctions, and the European nations are not going to go along with this, meaning it's only the United States, and the United States is pivoting us into some conflict with the EU over this particular issue. Do you know that the EU is talking about getting its own military? Do you know that Germany, Angela Merkel, has come out and said the United States no longer can protect us as they've gone along their own separate way? There are repercussions to what is taking place. I'm trying to get across to you. Look, dude, it's not Trump hate. It's me being honest about what Donald Trump is doing. When Donald Trump kills the TPP, I say, yes, fucking kill that thing. That's awesome. Good job, Donald Trump. When Donald Trump says we're not paying the white helmets anymore, good job, Donald Trump. But by the same token, you must understand the reason why he's not paying the white helmets is because he understands the white helmets were instrumental in getting us involved into that bombing raid that he did before, and he doesn't want to do the bombs. He wants to get us out of Syria. The reason he wants to get us out of Syria is because he wants to focus on Iran. Be honest. That's all I'm saying. Be honest. You can like Trump. Like him all you want. But be honest about what you like. I love my dog, Bo. I love him. He can be an asshole at times. He can be an asshole. He has this thing with food where he goes nuts anytime he sees somebody eating food and everything else. But I accept the fuck-ups and failings associated with him. I'm making a point, Siler, that you can accept that Donald Trump is going to go to war. What I think is, I don't think you like that. I think you hate that fact. I think the idea or the reality that he's lining up for this war, I think it bothers you. I don't think that's Trump hate. You sounded pretty hateful when you gave Bernie credit for not... For what? You sounded pretty hateful when you gave Bernie credit for not shitting in his pants like Trump did when the protester ran on stage in the video. Yeah, I did. That's fair. That's fair. I don't think I said it sounded pretty hateful. I think hateful is strong. I think you like Trump. And I think anything somebody says about Trump bothers you. And I think me having this very specific go at Trump, I don't think I said anything bad about Trump. I think I can call him reality shows. But I need you to be honest. That's the only point that I'm trying to get at, Siler. Be honest. You can like Trump. You can think Trump is something else, is something different. I think Trump is just a regular Republican. But at least be honest. I mean, come on. Are you going to live stream Bernie Town Hall with commentary? I'd rather watch you than TYT if you did. So yeah, so Bernie Sanders is giving a live town hall with The Intercept. That was fucking amazing. It's almost like indie media is coming with their own thing. Maybe. I guess I hadn't thought of it. I didn't think anybody would be interested in watching a live town hall with me doing it, but maybe. That might not be a bad idea, Danny. It might not be a bad idea at all. Siler, look, I try to be fair with Trump, but understand, I am a lefty. I am a lefty's lefty. In certain things. I mean, I don't like the SJW stuff. To a point. I usually think of these things in ranges. You know, it's like the person who used to call blacks nigger, at that time, the person will say, oh, that's SJW if you tell me not to do that. So there are ranges. If it gets to the point where you're trying to curtail people's speech, I don't particularly like. You know, free speech is precisely for the speech you don't particularly like. I don't want anybody being abusive or anything else. I'm not a fan of Trump. I don't like him. I mean, I don't like him for various reasons, but I don't particularly like him. If he does something that I like, fair enough. If he does something I don't like, I say I don't like it. If he does something I like, I say I like it. That's kind of my show. Yeah, I wasn't joking Trump for look like he shit himself when those people ran on stage, and Bernie being somewhat, just doing his thing. Fair enough. But none of that has anything to do with the price of tea in China on this. We're talking about something very specific. He is lining up for a war. I just want you to understand that. Like, everything else is fine. Whatever you want to say about me is fine. I accept all of it. Yes. I have a picture where I am putting my ass on the windows in France and I'm waving in Paris. I do it every country I go to. I have ass cheeks on the window. I love it. I think it's fucking hilarious. If you want to show that picture and say in the middle of our argument, say, look at this. None of that has anything to do with what I'm saying, that he is lining up for war. I only care because I used to be a lefty too. I am Siler. But you're not a Let me say it this way. Except for the moment, take away the labels. Just get rid of them. Our understanding of the world, especially within the idea of labels, is based around Democratic and Republican politics. We are not those things. We're different. Except for the moment that we're different. Exist in that space where how you evaluate what you are is not necessarily dependent on the two parties, except that it's something different. There are going to be things that you say, I like this, that may be Democratic. There will be things that you say, I like this, that may be Republican. Just accept you're something different. Now, I only say that to say there may be aspects of Trump that you like. Personally, I hate the fact that Trump won, but I love the fact that Hillary Clinton lost. And somebody could say, well, dude, I mean, you can't have it both ways. Yeah, I can have it both ways because the feeling goes both ways. Your feelings don't have to be one way or the other. I like it in an odd way of throwing Trump through the window of the way the status quo is, because it allows a certain thing of change in the political structure. It's like it breaks this kind of hegemonic viewpoint of the way politics goes. So don't get me wrong, I understand. It's almost like we're in the wilderness trying to figure out what we are and organize ourselves around something. But Jesus Christ, Donald Trump is not your savior. He's just a regular Republican. He's like Bush. I mean, what differences do you believe exist between George Bush and Donald Trump, with the exception that Trump is a little worse? But he's just a Republican. Like if Mike Pence was in that office, Mike Pence would be doing the exact same thing that Trump is doing now. If Ted Cruz was in that office, Ted Cruz would be doing the exact thing. I'm trying to get this point across to you that he's just a regular Republican. Just a regular Republican. All right. I'm not going to keep this one long. This one is going for a while. I am Sylar. Look, man, I understand where you're coming from. So don't misunderstand me. And I do bash Trump because I don't particularly like Trump. I do give Trump credit when he does something I like. And all those things kind of go around to, do I like it or dislike it? And I try to be honest with it. But I need you to do the same on this. If you come away with a different conclusion, fair enough. Fair enough. But let's be honest. I mean, would H.A. Goodman hire a Hillary supporter, hire Peter Dow to edit his videos on Hillary Clinton? And if so, why not? Why not? If Peter Dow was looking for a job, why wouldn't he hire Peter Dow to help him edit his videos? You wouldn't classify Trump as a Republican, but why not? Why not? What different? What is different? It's just tone. It's rhetoric. But that's all it is. Bush did a tax cut. It was gross. It was over the top. In the same way Donald Trump did a tax cut. Trump is just as hawkish, if not more so, with the exception of Syria because of the Russia thing. But Bush went into Iraq. He had plans for Iran and reshaping the Middle East. Donald Trump is going to help him along with the Iran thing in the way that he's lining up for it. Bush was horrible on environmental policy. Trump is horrible on environmental policy. Bush wanted to get rid of Medicare and all that stuff. Yes, he passed Medicare, the other one. Trump and the Republican Party are going to try to take care of Social Security and Medicare. What am I missing? He's a worse Republican. You wouldn't classify him as a Republican, but that's what it is. The difference that you're finding is tone. It's how he talks and using Twitter and all this other stuff. But it's not. He's not different. It's the same old, same old. He's just fucking horrendous. It's more so. I mean, think of the number of people Bush was trying to kill with drones. Bush was just incompetent. Obama gets in, is a better manager at that stuff, and he's killing people wholesale. Donald Trump comes in, takes care of the apparatus, and then stuffs it into the CIA. So we wouldn't necessarily know how many people Donald Trump is murdering with drones. This man is just a regular Republican, dude. He's just a regular Republican. Look, I have no issue with this idea of using Trump to break the Democratic Party. I even somewhat agree. But war is different. Like I can make a case that we've earned whatever Trump wrought on a domestic front, meaning whatever happens to the public in this case, we've earned it. We've done it. Clearly, we've earned it because Donald Trump is in office. It is our responsibility to make sure the president of the United States and our country don't go murdering other people around the globe. We failed magnificently for that for Iraq. We failed magnificently for that for Libya. We failed magnificently for that for all sorts of countries, other 7 countries that we're bombing and killing in. We're in 70% of the globe from the standpoint of military. And Donald Trump has sights and designs on Iran in the same way that the United States had designs on Syria. Wake up. That's what I'm saying. It's not binary. It's not a binary choice. Like I understand this thing of I'm jumping to Trump, but Trump is just a regular Republican. I understand that his tone is different, but he is a regular Republican. But however you need to process it, man. I guess it slightly irks me because I feel like it's this thing of. I guess my feeling is. It's not. You're not a right winger. You're advocating a right winger, and somebody who's pushing hard right, extraordinarily hard right on a wide range of issues. And because his tone is different, he comes across as something different. It's not. Yeah, 2 parties: Republicans and dumb Republicans. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I originally thought SJW was single Jewish women. No. The SJW thing, people like curtailing speech. I hate that. I don't fucking like that at all. Let people say what they have to say. Don't be sexist. Don't be racist. Don't be anti-Semitic, etc. There's some things, however, that go along the margins, and people jump on this thing of, oh, that's sexist. It's like, not really. I mean, that's not, maybe to a certain disposition, but not really, and not to a point where you can tell somebody else that they can't talk that way. That's on you. You know what I mean? And I give you shit because you and your fans always hate on H.A. Goodman, turn me on to you, and all progressives do a show. I don't shit on H.A. Goodman. I say he's a friend of the show. My only, I think, bad word about H.A. Goodman is on the Iran thing. It's only on the Iran thing. I understood, at least I think I understood what he was doing. At least I thought I did at one point. This idea of these guys cheated greatly, and they need to hurt for cheating us. I got that. I get that. I get that in a visceral way. On this, no, I don't agree with. Like the other stuff. If I think H and I think bump heads on the Israeli stuff. I think it was once before Trump moving the embassy, and even that, it just made the argument of why. I don't think it was me shitting on him. This is different. This is war. This is war. This is different. Yeah, this is different. The tragedy of modern war is that the young men die fighting each other instead of the real enemies back home in the capitals. Edward Abbey, Thane, Aarons. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. That's correct. Look, HA is a friend of the show. That's never changed. Hasn't deviated one iota. You can disagree with people, and it's not quite shitting on them. That's all I'm saying. You said he intentionally goes after Trump supporters. Oh, you calling that shitting on him? What is he supposed to do? He has a job. I know this sounds weird or sounds trite. Yeah, I assume he does. Like, my assumption is, you start a channel. Well, and, tell me if I'm wrong. You start a channel. And as you start a channel, you start, you're Bernie supporter and everything else. And you find out that because of your disposition, that you start getting a lot of people who are Trump supporters or who are somewhat to the right. What do? Do you go headlong against those people who are Trump supporters, or do you say, hey, there's a market here, there's a vein of people who want to hear what I'm saying, especially from the standpoint of Clinton or Clinton locked up and all that other stuff? You go with it. Why would you? What would you do? And I'm saying this from somebody who does videos. Like, you find yourself in this particular disposition of, I need to do two things. I want to get across my disposition, my point of view, and I also need to do it in a way that people actually watch. Because otherwise, what's the point? No, I don't fault him for that at all. I want to be true to himself, but I don't fault him for it. So yeah, I think that's the case. To some degree. I mean, to be honest though, the question becomes how much of it. Like, is it one of those things where you repudiate everything that you believe in order to do it? That's what it boils down to. No, man, I consider HA a friend of the show. That hasn't changed. It hasn't changed at all. But that being said, no, I don't like this Zionism stuff. I fundamentally disagree with. You have no right to any land. I mean, that's fucking insane. And the war stuff. Yeah, no way. Not in line on that one. Not in line at all. Jamal's litter box. Alan Sinclair, litter box. And in fact, speaking of Silar, I've gotten shit from people for saying HA is a friend of the show. Think about that shit. It's like, how can you be friends with that guy? Well, he's a friend of the show. I mean, why not? He has a different perspective. Badger Damon, how dare our myths? How dare... I think you're trying to say, how dare you say our myths are real. Abby Martin on Joe Rogan, Israel lost all credibility. Israel had lost all credibility a long time ago, Balthazar. I invited her on the show, by the way. She may be coming on. All right, guys. This one is going long. I am Salar. Having a difference of opinion on something is a little bit different than shitting on a person. At least I think so. If somebody comes out, for example, if HA comes back and says, look, this and this were wrong because of this and this, that's not really shitting on him. I've hit people harder. If I'm trying to think back to anything that I've said that's been brutal, and I don't think I've said anything brutal towards HA. The Trump stuff or targeting Trump supporters, why wouldn't he? I mean, come on, it would be insane not to. People have said I do that, which is fucking insane. Like, they've said, dude, you organize your videos for right wingers. They're looking at this through the lens of the two-party system, and they're making the assumption that I'm trying to do this because I'm trying to entice a certain demographic. No, you have been insane if you find a vein of people who are interested in your work to not lean towards that vein of people. The question is, do you do it consciously or unconsciously? Whether it's conscious or unconscious is kind of besides the point. If you're leaning in that direction, you're leaning in that direction. It's not horrible. He's doing what he got to do. He's making a living for himself. All that really honest matters is, are you being honest? That's what matters. Jamal has been harder on Captain Janeway. I have not been hard on Captain Janeway. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, That's why that's what you're saying. I think honestly, I think it's because you like him. That's what it is. Honestly, I think it's because you like him. I think because you like him, and I think because of him, I think you like Trump. I could be wrong. But I've called HA a friend of the show for God knows how long. And that hasn't changed. Even if I disagree with him, it hasn't changed my iota. It's the same thing with Same Progressive. Same Progressive is a friend of the show. Love her to death. I've disagreed with her. Still love her to death. Hasn't changed. Hasn't changed at all. Den 1. Jamal was hard on Progressive Voice. Yes! And that was a kid. That was a kid. Do you know they joke me for that shit to this day? Because I made a video going after Progressive Voice after he attacked, what's his name? Not to mention, I defended HA when Jordan went after. Yeah. Get out of here with that. He's a friend of the show, and he remains a friend of the show. Me disagreeing doesn't change that. Sinclair. Doesn't change it one iota. Badger Damon. We'll never forget Jamal. Oh, the defending HA. It's funny. I didn't even know who HA was at the time. It was just, this was magnificently unfair, and this was happening on the left. Jamal likes to kick the weird kid with the giant white mic. That's funny. Watched her on Joe Rogan. Israel's separation of government and population disappeared, and they lost all credibility to exist as is. I'm gonna have to check her out. I saw part of that interview. I saw people going after her for that interview. Abby Martin, I remember one time, she was having a back and forth with someone, and she kind of made this point of, look, I'll save my erring on the side of the people who are at the worst scenario. Meaning the people who are the least, or have the least, or in the dire straits. I'll save my bias for them, as opposed to the side that doesn't. I love her. She's awesome. Zox Alvix. HA should definitely remain a friend of the show. How else would he get answers to hard questions on Jamal Dares to ask? That's funny. No, for hitting the kid. Oh, for hitting the kid. Badger Debbie, yeah. He attacked my friends, man. I have friends of the show. I'm tribal at times. Caitlin Johnson is a friend of the show. Who else? Who was the other person? Jimmy Dore. Friend. I don't know Jimmy Dore, but I like him. So. No for hitting the kid. Turn me on to you. Alright, guys. I'm going to keep this. I'm not going to keep this long. Let's see. Ron Paclone. Ron Paclone is also a friend of the show. Ron Paclone was awesome. He was awesome. Yeah, there are a few people who are friends of the show that I try to keep in contact with. The other cat that was here the other day that I have this kind of insane reverence for, Professor Richard Wolff. Yeah, man. Ron is cool. Caitlin's been getting flack for some progressive army for some crazy mess. Jaggles. Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. She did an article saying that the right should work with the left, or the left should work with the right. And they completely jumped the shark from context. Completely missing the context. I mean, it was fucking most stupidest concern that I think I've ever heard from the standpoint of concerns. And they just attack her for it. Literally, just attack her for it. Fuck the context. We don't care about the context. Missing the point. I wish she didn't use what's his name. Like, the person she used as an example was gross as all could be. Can't think of his name. It's kind of besides the point. The context of, yeah, they're off. They're way off. I'm sorry, phone died. Much respect to the conversation. While at least you're not a fake progressive like a lot of people here. Sylar, I don't. The funny part is, Sylar, I feel like I know where you're coming from. Like, if that sounds strange, I understand the disposition. If that makes sense, I magnificently disagree with you about the Trump stuff. Magnificently disagree. I can't disagree more. If there was something in me that had the capacity to even go beyond that level, I wouldn't even know what that level looked like. It's like Star Trek and Warp 10. It's like we can't fathom going Warp 10. You end up going back in time. That's the level of disagreement I have with you about the Trump stuff. But that being said, we can have the conversation, man. I appreciate the conversation. Can Wolf join an organization named Sheep? Oh, Balthazar. He is not a sheep. He is not a sheepdog. He's not a sheepdog. Alright, guys. And the fake progressive stuff, I don't even agree with that. I look, man, I think some people just don't. Danny Knapp, not true. You should have gotten the other side. Kate stoked that fire and weasel her way out of it, punching down on smaller platforms like hers. you should have gotten the other side. Caitlyn stoked that fire and weaseled her way out of it, punching down at smaller platforms than hers. Progressive Army is a major platform. What are you talking about, Danny? What are you talking about? Like, she wrote an article and they started attacking her after she wrote the article. I mean, I remember when she first did it. I literally remember when she wrote the article. I remember when she did it. C-Card, I hate the fact that Trump won and I hate the fact that Hillary lost. I've been known to say exactly the same thing. Oh, the looks, I get when I do. No, so the funny part is, I usually say, I hate the fact that Hillary Clinton lost. Wait a minute. I usually say, I hate the fact that Trump won, but I love that Hillary lost. Somebody told me that one day and I said, right there, that's it. That's exactly what it is. Feelings are not, this is a sign, this is a book, those things are finite, those things are definite, those have definitive space and everything else. Your feelings don't have to abide by that at all. You can like something and hate something at the exact same time. Oh my God, I love this woman, but good Lord, I can't stand her ass. Both of those things can happen. Yeah, both of those things can happen. So yeah, it's like, I hate the fact that Donald Trump won, but I love that she lost. Do you realize me going into work the next day? Oh, I loved it. I fucking loved it. Like it's one of those things of, God, we're fucked. Trump is in office. But at the exact same time, you see the face of a Hillary supporter, and you're like, yes. Something in you just explodes. Yes. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I mean, Hillary has some good quotes that make you think. Right. Do you think you could ever do a video on left gatekeepers? I don't know what left gatekeepers are. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean, Jagos? H.A. love Caitlyn Johnson. Yeah, I like Caitlyn too. Like I said, Solid, H.A. is a friend of the show, man. Just because I disagree with him. By the way, he also disagrees with me on this. So that goes both ways. It's like, is H.A. shitting on me because he disagrees with me? First step in Hillary's Anonymous, accept the people you cannot change. Second, accept Hillary as a higher power. Peter Dow says her. Peter, the guy who's joking Peter Dow on Twitter, he was like, he has a homosexual, biracial dog that he got from a lesbian or something. There's some weird shit that the guy used to say. Caitlyn is amazing. Yeah, Caitlyn is amazing. You're funded by the Koch brothers. Not so much. Zox Alex, H.A. morphed into a Trump sheep. I don't know what H.A.'s doing. I thought I used to know, but it's on him, man. It's up to him. He does what he wants. It's his channel, it's his show. He can do whatever he wants. It's like when Tim Black went on, I think he went on Sam Cedar. He was trying to tell Sam Cedar how Sam Cedar should run his show, and Sam Cedar eviscerated him. And it's like, the problem is like, you can't tell people how to run their own show. I disagree with his perspective, but I would never tell him not to do it. Kishawari Kate, Balthazar, you're amazing with her supporting comments. Kishawari Kate, Balthazar is amazing with his comments and his assistant for the show. I am always weirded out, if I'm being honest, by people giving to the show, but it's necessary for the show to go. I had a conversation with my wife earlier today, and I was like, I'm always weirded out when people give. Like, it's, in order for the show to do what the show does, it needs support. So fair enough. And so this is essentially saying, I feel weird about it. This doesn't really get you anywhere because there's nothing that you can do. If I want to do this, then you accept donations. It just kind of comes with the territory, whether it's through Patreon or whether it's through Super Chat or even whether it's through Google. But yeah, I'm always weirded out by it, but I do appreciate it. See, Jamal, that's bullshit. Calling HA a Trump sheep sounds like a Democratic retardation. Trump sheep is too sorry. And I didn't say that. That was, who said that? Who said that? Trump sheep. Okay, I don't remember who said that. But whatever. That didn't come from me. Trump sheep sounds... Here's the thing, Sylar. You were on the left at one point, and you became a Trump supporter. Did you become a Trump supporter through HA, or did you become a Trump supporter through yourself? And if you became a Trump supporter through HA, isn't by definition that's a Trump sheep? I mean, come on, be honest. You're missing. You got to be honest. That's all I'm asking. Be honest. Like, if I wasn't the one who said Trump sheep, but is the person completely wrong in saying it? Is that disposition completely wrong? If you're on the left and you're watching HA and you're looking at stuff and he's, trying to back up Trump and trying to support Trump and trying to find ways to make defenses and arguments for Trump and everything else. I mean, come on, be honest. Be honest. That's all I'm saying. Nope. Way before HA. Oh, so you jumped on the Trump train before HA. Fair enough. Fair enough. But do you see any disposition that the person could say a Trump sheep, meaning pulling people into the Trump thing, making arguments and defenses for Trump consistently, continuously? I mean, come on, be honest. That's all. All I'm asking, Sylar, is be honest. Like, I grant you some of the stuff. Fair enough. I could be hard on Trump because I don't like Donald Trump. In the same way that people who don't necessarily like Sanders can be hard on Sanders. I've been hard on Sanders. You have people on this channel who bash Sanders relentlessly. It's what it is. I've called Bernie Sanders a Democratic sheepdog. I think that's true. I think he's been telling people to get into the Democratic Party. I think TYT is somewhat of a sheepdog for the Democratic Party. Yes, I think that's true. If you were asking me, do I think he's sheepdogs for Trump? I mean, come on. Yeah, of course. I'm sorry. I honestly think he does. I'm sorry. Now, I didn't say that prior. Somebody else said it. Do I agree with it as I'm sitting here talking about it and making a case for it? Maybe. I'm being honest. Why are you acting like I'm not? Because if you don't see how Donald Trump is lining up for a war, or at the very least regime change, and he has all of these people who are surrounding him saying regime change, and your argument is, well, you were hard on Trump and you said he shit his pants. Well, that's not really an argument. Well, the Syrian people or the Iranian people, 70% want regime change. That's not really an argument. I'm making the point of, don't you see how he's lining up for regime change in that country? And with all of the evidence going for the regime change stuff, I don't understand how you look at all of these people who are saying, I want regime change, I want regime change, I want regime change. All of these people surrounding Donald Trump, all of these people Trump hired and brought around him. And you're saying that, no, that's not what Donald Trump wants, despite Donald Trump bringing all of these people around him who seem to actually want that thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Be honest. I'm saying be honest. Guy who couldn't sell anything can sell war to Democrats. Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, call in, Sylar, call in. Let's see. Call in. This will be my last thing for the evening. Are you nearby a phone, Sylar? Stop giving money for this. You're putting out super chat. It's like, dude, stop the super chat. Just call in. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at the email. Yeah, Sylar, call in, man. Yeah, call in. The number's at the bottom. Yeah, my only reason for saying be honest is because it's like, if all of these things are lining up, Jamal will make a terrible stripper. Oh, quit giving me money. It's just weird. It's awkward. It's like I'm listening to his comments. We're having a conversation. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I appreciate it. But I want somebody to go broke having an argument with me. Hold up. I'm on the phone. What's the number? The number's at the bottom. Is Sylar actually HA or HA's mom who's... That's funny. It's Sylar, HA's mom. That's hilarious. It's at the bottom. It should be at the bottom, Sylar. Yeah, it should be at the bottom. Jamal, I keep this short 3 hours. It's 59 minutes. I'm trying to keep it to an hour. I'm a Trump supporter, and I will beat anyone in jeopardy proving Trump supporters are smarter than non-Trump supporters. I live this on coke. Ha! You have to clean your room before you do another Trump video. Holland St. Clair, sudden laryngitis. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Here we are. Siler, what's happening, man?
What's up?
Not too much.
So
two things. Wait. So two things. So the first thing is the Iranian thing. Do you honestly believe that they're not lining up for, with all of these people that have aligned around Trump? You're saying that all of these people are wrong. That Rudy Giuliani saying that we have a president that's going to be willing to change the regime in Iran. He's wrong. Mike Pompeo, who's looking for a push for Iran, he's wrong. John Bolton, that maniac, saying that we're going to be celebrating in Tehran in 2019. You're saying that all of these people are wrong, even though all of these people are in Trump's ear.
You know my fundamental problem?
Go for it.
You know my fundamental problem with Iran?
Go for it.
It's that it poses a direct threat to the U.S. homeland. I mean,
how?
They say death to the U.S.
But we've been screaming about toppling that government for the past. Do you understand that what's his name? John McCain has been started singing bomb, 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 bomb Iran. John McCain is one of the senators in the United States. All of these guys have been screaming about regime change. Why is it okay for us to scream about regime change, but not them?
I don't agree with the neocons like John McCain and Lindsey Graham.
But nevertheless, they're doing it. They're doing it. They're still saying it. I'm saying, you're saying that they say death to America. Why do they say death to America?
Well, that's understandable, but you have to be pragmatic, you know? You have to think about the United States.
Yeah. But I'm missing, you're missing my point. If our government, multiple people in our government are talking about regime change as a policy, not people just being pissed off, but they're talking about regime change as a policy of the United States. And they've watched the United States destroy Iraq, they watched it destroy Libya, they've watched it bomb all of these other countries. They've seen the military in all of these countries. And you've even known that they've been talking about changing that government for God knows how long. Why wouldn't they be pissed at America? And B, why is it okay for America to scream death to Iran, but not the other way around?
Of course, it goes way back to 1953. I mean, I think you misunderstand my position. I know the U.S. has done a lot of terrible things.
Yes.
I just think that Trump is playing 4D chess. He's trying to...
Go ahead. No, I'm not going to interrupt. I'm not going to interrupt. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like, for example, what he did with North Korea, you know, everyone, even Kyle Kalinske, thought that he was going to mess up and start World War III, but instead he got our 3 U.S. detainees.
They did get the detainees, but that I would make the point to you that has probably more to do with China. Like China was putting emphasis or putting pressure on North Korea for the past few months by pulling away from sanctions and everything else. Most of the goods and service or resources that they get came from China. Once China started putting screws to them, well, there's not much longer that government can last out. I understand people want to give Trump credit for that. Fair enough. I don't necessarily, that's fine. But you understand that there is a fundamental difference between North Korea and Iran. In North Korea has a bomb. North Korea can drop that bomb on Japan and South Korea, meaning there's no military solution to the issues associated with North Korea. Iran is different.
Iran has brilliant nuclear scientists who can easily develop a nuclear weapon. And now that we've terminated the Iran deal, it's even easier.
Easily? So when Benjamin Netanyahu, going back to 1992, has been screaming that Iran was like a few years away from a nuclear bomb, was he telling the truth or was he lying?
No, I'm not a Zionist. I didn't say
you were a Zionist. I'm making a point that everyone has been screaming that Iran was trying to get a nuclear bomb for God knows how long. While Israel has nuclear bombs and was willing to sell those nuclear bombs to an apartheid state, South Africa. I'm making the point that I don't understand how the United States can topple the Iranian government, how they can topple all these other governments in the region, but everybody else is the threat. We spend like $1 trillion on our military. I don't know how much they spend on their military, but that country is crippled by sanctions and whatnot, and some of the economic stuff that goes on in that country. I don't understand how they are a direct threat to the United States. I don't get it. I don't see it. You need to explain to me what military assets are going to hit us.
They're allies with Russia, which is pretty significant.
We're allied with Saudi Arabia.
Think about it for a second.
We're allied with Saudi Arabia. We're allied with Israel. We're allied with two countries that are literally policy
agree.
is to
We're
take
also-
them out.
We're also allies with Turkey. I mean, we're allies with terrible countries.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that we need to be a little bit reasonable and deal with Iran in a intelligent way, because
Yeah.
otherwise it could lead to potential global chaos. I
Yes.
don't want to be hawkish with Iran.
But
That's not my position.
But getting rid of the deal, you understand, is a prelude to being hawkish with Iran. The entire point of getting rid of the deal is to be hawkish with Iran. You understand that, right?
I don't want to get rid of the deal.
Okay. But your entire position boiled down to this thing of Trump got rid of the deal. You guys are being, insane by saying that this is a prelude to war. I'm saying this is a prelude to war. He's doing this for regime change.
But there's multiple European countries that are still willing to continue the deal. I
Yes,
don't think
that's
it's
true.
a prelude to war. I have the same position as, you know who Stick Sexton Hammer 666 is?
Yeah. I know of him. I've never watched his stuff.
Well, he's basically a libertarian, and what he's saying is that he doesn't really care about the Iran deal. He's in the middle. That's my position. I don't really care, to be honest. I think it's not as significant as people make it out to be.
They put that deal. Why do you think they put that deal in place?
I personally think it's one of Obama's better foreign policy decisions. I just think that the media might be over-exaggerating how
But why?
significant-
I'm asking why. Why do you think it's one of his better foreign policy decisions?
It's one of his better foreign policy decisions because it stops Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, and they can still enrich their nuclear capacity so they can power their grids and stuff like that. But
So once the deal goes away, then what?
I don't like Trump's move. All I'm saying is that he's doing a lot of great things. And I think that your
What great things are Donald Trump doing? Explain to me the great thing. Get across to me the great things. TPP I would give you. I think that's a good thing. But what is the other great things that Trump is doing?
He cut the corporate tax rate to 21%.
That's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It stimulates the economy.
But you understand that they put that money in their pocket when they got that money, right?
But I think progressives, can I be honest? I think progressives are illiterate when it comes to economics. I mean, when you cut the corporate tax rate, you boost growth. That's basic economics.
No, you don't. It's not basic economics. It depends on the situation. The fact is, the corporate profits have been through the roof. They've been through the roof. The salaries for everybody else for the last, since the 80s have not gone anywhere. The real wages have been stagnant the entire time. The reason, when they cut that corporate tax rate, they took that money and said, thank you very much, and they put it in their pocket. The fact is, the reason that these people put it in their pockets is because you don't create a job unless you need a job. Like, if I own something, like this thing is considered a small business. I'm not going to hire anybody for shits and giggles. I'm not going to hire anybody for some kind of societal benefit. I hire them for a specific reason, for a job, because I need them to do something that's going to make me more cash. These companies don't hire people willy-nilly or for shits and giggles. Now, to be fair to you, there is some economic input that may be growth. But you get more growth by saying we're going to put money at the bottom of the pool, not putting that money at the top and allowing that money to trickle down. Do you believe trickle-down economics worked?
That's causation correlation fallacy. The real reason wages are stagnant is because of the Federal Reserve. Remember when wage growth was at 2.9% one time in Trump's administration, but then because of the Federal Reserve, the economy still sucked. So wage growth went back down. That's the real reason, the Federal Reserve.
The Federal
It's
Reserve
not because...
Okay, I'm sorry.
The real reason, if you look at the facts, FDR, the New Deal actually did not ameliorate the problem. The Depression was sustained because of the New Deal. If you lower taxes, it hires more people. And as you see, unemployment is now below 4%. And you'll have better wages because corporations will have a more significant amount of profit to share to its workers.
Yeah, that's trickle-down economics. That's what that's called. Trickle-down economics is nonsense.
Yeah, it works.
It doesn't. That's nonsense. I mean, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm just saying that's nonsense. That's a plutocrat making an argument of why they need more money. That's all. That was Ronald Reagan's main point. Do you understand Laffer, the person who created the Laffer curve, is making the point that, yeah, this has gone far too far. Like this isn't. But let me say it this way: if you were a job, let's say you were a small business owner, would you hire somebody if your taxes went lower, if you didn't need somebody to do a job?
Yes, I would.
Why would you hire somebody if you don't need them to do a job?
Because because look at it from a macroeconomic.
Wait. No. Wait. Answer that question. Why would you hire somebody if you don't need them to do a job?
That question doesn't matter.
That question matters.
That question doesn't matter.
You just don't like that question.
Because,
you just don't like that
because
question. That question.
No,
is
you're looking at it. Look at the whole picture.
No. Answer that question. Would you hire somebody if you did not need them to do a job? You just don't like the question. But that question gets to the heart of the matter.
Perhaps I would.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Be honest. No, you wouldn't. Because your job, if you're a small business, your goal is to maximize profit like everybody else. In fact, your workers are one of the drags on profit and the product costs and everything else. You're trying to maximize profit. The idea that in trying to maximize profit, you bring on somebody just for shits and giggles is nonsense. Nobody would ever do that.
But I know, but I'm not. But why not just raise the minimum wage to $15? Why do you have to cut corporate tax rate?
Well, I don't think you should cut corporate tax rates. The amount of money that corporations used to put into the economy, they used to have a much, much larger share of the rate of the money that used to come into the economy as opposed to now. I mean, you say, why not do that? Trump would never do that. Trump said he was going to raise it to $10. He never even did that.
But he worked hard to. But didn't they work hard to get that money?
Who worked hard to get that money? You mean the workers? The workers did work hard. The workers busted their ass 50, 60 hours a week. They didn't get anything.
Why should you steal the money from the rich?
It's not theft. The rich are in this country. No, it's not. The rich are in this country. And like everybody else, they have a certain amount that they pay to keep this country running. They hit the lottery. Congratulations for hitting the lottery. And hitting the lottery, there's a certain amount that you give back to your society. They paid less of their income than the regular people who are in this country busting their ass to make wages and to make ends meet. That's not theft. But ultimately, they need to pay their fair share. That's what it boils down to. They just don't want to pay their fair share, and they come up with arguments to why they get the plebs to not allow them to pay their fair share. Hey, we need an argument that allow us to keep billions of dollars so Jeff Bezos can walk around with $100 billion. Do you realize there's nothing on this planet that Jeff Bezos has done, will do that would equate to him getting $100 billion while somebody else is living on the street?
All right, but think about it. What happens if you refuse to pay your taxes? You get thrown in jail.
Yes.
So isn't that essentially, even Noam Chomsky is an anarchist. I mean, you cannot have, you cannot have this hierarchical force say, if you refuse to conform to the society and you don't pay your taxes, you're thrown in jail. Why not abolish taxes all across the board?
I understand where you're coming from. You're coming from this from a, you have a mix of ideologies, but I think I understand where you're coming from. You're making this point of the government itself, state, is this kind of oppressive force. And at the end of the day, who's standing back there is a bat. Regardless of, the niceties and everything else, the government, everything else. Ultimately, if you don't pay your taxes, there's going to be a man with a bat who's standing there who's going to hit you with that bat. And I mean by bat, I mean just force. They're taking this money through force to some degree. Some people give it up because they want a better society. Others say, fuck the society. I want to make as much as I can. I don't care that I get to drive on these streets. I don't care that I get these cops. I don't care that I get these firemen. I don't care that I have the military protecting my interests. I don't care about any of this stuff. Fuck society. Fuck having a society that deals with those things. I don't want that. I don't care about that. I have my little money. I'm going to build my house. I'm going to build a fortress around my house and say fuck off. You do have people who are like that. Now the catch becomes and I think Chomsky would agree with this. We're not at the anarchist stage. I mean, we're nowhere near that point of this idea of dissolution of government. Like that. But how do you? Let me ask you this: from a libertarian standpoint, say you did that. Say you dissolved the government to some degree. How do you deal with issues of currency?
I think I'll tell you how. We bomb Saudi Arabia, take all their profits, and then spread it out to the collective population for our own economic benefit. They oppress their women, don't they? They oppress gays, don't they?
They do.
Why are we their allies?
And there were Saudis on the thing for 9/11. Yes, that's true. That's true. That's true. I
don't want to bomb. I don't want to bomb the Saudi people. Why not just bomb the government and then take their money? And then we can implement the modern monetary theory, have national sovereignty over our currency, and provide it to Saudi Arabians people too.
Essentially saying, look, we're going to bomb the shit out your government, but you're going to be better off for it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Siler, I don't fully disagree with you, man. I understand where you're coming from. This idea of, government being this kind of thing of force. Because you're right. Government does hold the reserve of force. We get the punch you in the nose and you can't do anything about it. So if that cop is murdering somebody, you hitting that cop is somehow you doing force against the government, and that's bad even though the cop was murdering somebody. or that cop stops you and tries to take your property. This stuff that Democrats and Republicans, go along with thinking this is perfectly okay. This stuff is fucked up. I agree with you on that. I guess I'm stuck in this paradigm of how I don't know how you get to the Chomsky stage. Like, I don't know how you get to the anarchist vision of the world. This idea of these kind of devolved systems and everything else. I feel you. I guess I'm being specific to certain things that are taking place within the Trump administration. And there are certain things that I don't particularly like. TPP, yes, I love that he put a knife in that. A lot of the other stuff, not so much.
I don't like Donald Trump.
You sounded like you love the guy.
No, I don't like him. It's just that I prefer him over Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Massively.
Maybe. That's true. Yes, that's true. That's true.
I
agree with you on that. I agree with you on that.
I know I sound like a Trump supporter.
You sound a lot like a Trump supporter. You sound like full on. I've drunk the Kool-Aid. I've licked the bottom of the cup. Yeah, you sound intense.
I just don't think you should impeach him because the answer would be Mike Pence, which is significantly worse.
Yeah, the impeachment is nonsense. I agree with you on that. The impeachment is nonsense. I totally agree with you.
I guess we disagree more on anarchism and taxation, to be exact.
No, it's not. I mean, the taxation thing, yeah, we disagree because you don't have a society without taxation. I don't know how you get to a society without taxation. And you have plutocrats who think it's perfectly okay to try to get as much as they possibly can from the standpoint of wealth. And it's like, fuck the rest. And I'm saying, how do you have a police force? How do you realize some of the police forces stopped doing burglary because they couldn't necessarily afford it because the tax money that was coming in wasn't sufficient enough to pay for the police force. I mean, it's stuff like that. It's like, how do you have a society? Over here, they stopped having ambulances in Richmond. Meaning, at one point, they came up with this deal where you had to pay a certain amount in order to get an ambulance to come to your house. It's fucking insane. Like, do you want a society or not? And if you want a society, how do you pay for that society? What level of society do you want? And everybody pitches in. I mean, it just is what it is. And you have some people who made magnificently well off of, you realize Amazon paid no taxes. That one of the most profitable companies. Yeah. In fact, we gave them money. We gave them like $270 million. That's insane.
Yeah. But what Noam Chomsky would say is he would want unions to control the
No, he wouldn't.
country.
Give me the link. Give me the link.
He believes in syndicates.
Give me the link. I know what he is. Give me the link. Give me the link. I want to hear him say it.
Look up what he believes. It's anarcho. I don't have it.
I know what he is. I know he's an anarchist, but I've heard him make his argument about what he means when he say anarchist. And I guarantee you, it's not no taxes. He would never say that. I mean, you would never find a clip of Noam Chomsky say cut tax. Now,
I agree with you. You're 100. The whole no taxes thing is my personal opinion. The anarchist thing is Noam Chomsky's.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's fair.
Of course, he wants taxes. He's one of the most liberal people.
Oh, wait.
There.
So, who are you? What's your name?
I'm Siler.
No, you're not Siler. Siler is saying you're not Siler. Motherfucker, that nerd ain't me. I went to voicemail, left your number. Jamal, tell Siler to call in. Let's see. Motherfucking imposter, not me, Jamal, check voicemail. Yeah, dude, he's saying you're not Siler.
That's a fraud. I don't know who that is.
But it has I am Siler as the person. Meaning the person who's saying I am Siler is saying that you're not Siler.
I'm Siler's not even that's my channel's name. It's not my real name. So he's a fraud. He's just making that up.
Yeah, man, I'm skeptical, dude. I've been back and forth with this guy the entire time, and he says my name is I am Siler. So what's your name? Be honest. What's your real name?
My real name?
No, not your thing name. So, like, if you sent me something as a message, what would the title or what would the handle be for that particular message?
What would the handle would be?
Yeah.
I'm not Siler.
Come to Jesus. Ah, there we are. Come to Jesus. Come to Jesus. All right. Let Siler call in. I appreciate this call. What's your name so I remember who you are?
Utsav Sarma.
Sarma. Say it again. What is it? Sharma?
UTSAV SARMA.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Thank you for your call. All right, I'm gonna let I Am Siler call in because he's been chomping at the bit to call in. I appreciate you.
I was trolling this whole time. I'm a progressive.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, fair enough. Well, you did your thing. The funny part is there are people who have those perspectives, so it's not that far from the truth. I've heard people make that case. So thanks, man. I appreciate your call.
All right, cheers.
Bye. All right, I Am Siler. Call in. Somebody usurped you, dude. You've been usurped. Come on, Siler. Come on. That's hilarious. Come on, Siler. Call. Come on, go back. That's hilarious. I have to be honest. That's fucking hilarious. Oh, people are not liking you, dude. People are not liking you. Siler will sound just like him. The funny part is, Siler may actually sound just like him. He may sound just like him. Come on, Siler. Come on, Siler. I'm off. There's a lag between the things, so come on, Siler. Come on, call in. He said, that motherfucker is not me. Oh, man, that's so funny. Yeah, that's a good troll. Dominique Busimi, yeah, that's a good troll. That's a good troll. Because I thought he was serious, and I was like, because the funny part is, there are libertarians who make that argument. And you're like, fuck, I'm cracking open a beer, cheers, chat. All right, Siler, fair enough. All right, we've been going for an hour, 21 minutes. I wanted Siler to call in, but Siler's cracking a beer. So, Ustav is one of those Russian troll motherfuckers after all. Oh, he's a Russian troll. Don't troll chat like that, fella. Winsler. Yeah, that was funny. I wanted Siler to call in because I want Siler to make his point. Stevie Richter later. HA Troll Army in full effect. He's not, I don't think it's HA Troll Army. Maybe it was Siler. I don't think it was Siler. I mean, it's possible. It's possible, I guess. Check your voicemail, Amy. Yeah, he says not him. In Saudi Arabia, they stone gays. In Colorado, gays get stoned. Oh, yes, Baltazar. That's hilarious. Baltazar, Jamal talks to an imposter for an hour. Jamal tells Siler to call in, talks to imposter. Yeah, that's funny. That's fucking funny. Siler, motherfucker, that nerd ain't me. I went to voicemail, left your number. Come on, Siler, I want you to call in, man. I want you to call in. That troll got you. Well, he got me, but the troll, not me last time voicemail with my number. Yeah. I remember. I'm saying, call in. I want you to call in. It was more like 20 minutes. Yeah, it wasn't an hour. He was losing that argument. That's all I know. Play your voicemail. No, I want him to call in. Fraud with committed trolling. Yeah, it's trolling. It's Stevie Richter classic. Yeah, that's awesome. All that matters to me is I won that argument. HA would probably do a segment about how Jamal got trolled. He might. It would be fucking hilarious. That was Siler. If he doesn't call, I don't think that was Siler. Because there was somebody else who was trying to call from the 546 number. Hold on. I want Siler on this phone down. Let's see. All right. Let's see if I can call. 562. Siler, I'm calling, dude. You ain't got to call me. I'm going to call you. I want you to make your point. All right. Here we go. This is going to be fucking hilarious if this is the wrong number. Like, I don't know who that is. I'm sorry. All right. We're calling. Here we are. I don't care if Siler's already drunk.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Oh, bastard.
62810.
Oh, he's calling me. Siler, what's going on, man?
Jamal, what is up?
And this is
That
Siler. This
motherfucker
is
was not me. This is
right.
me.
He said that
This
motherfucker
is
was not me.
fucking me. I don't know what the fuck that fool was rambling on about. Sorry, man.
Well,
I'm
he
tired
went
from
into
all
the
that shit
weeds.
now.
At one point, he started going bananas. He was like, at one point, he was just doing a libertarian thing. It's like, all right, he's a libertarian, fair enough. And then at the point where you're just smashing the argument, it goes into, yeah, we should bomb Saudi Arabia. It's like, what? You shouldn't take their shit. It's like, all right, I don't know what's taking place.
Funny. Ain't gonna lie, that was some good trolling. I got trolled by that motherfucker. I admit it, but that wasn't me. Though. So I swear,
I was the one that got trolled. That was hilarious. That
was pretty good, though, I gotta say.
That was good trolling.
Jamal,
that was good trolling.
And just so you know, because I did leave a few voicemails, so just so you know, it's me. I left my phone number. Like, okay. I'm not sure if you can even check those.
No. I can see it. No worries. I can check the voicemail. This is through my Google line, but I can still see it.
Cool. Fuck. I'm tired as fuck now. I don't even know if I want to have a conversation now.
All right. Well, let's keep it constrained. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. Do you honestly believe that with Mike Pompeo, Tom Cotton, what's his name, Rudy Giuliani, John Insane fucking Bolton, Benjamin Netanyahu, Saudi Arabia, you have all of these people in Trump's ear pushing for regime change in Iran. And Mike Bolton saying that we have a president that's going to have regime change and I will be here dancing in Tehran in 2019. You have Giuliani saying we will have regime change in Tehran. We have a president who's on board for it. Are all of these people wrong?
I'll put it like this, because I do.
Are they wrong?
You know,
can we answer that question? Can we ask that? Wait.
No, for sure. Like all those that list of fucking actual deplorable people. I agree with it 100%. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting a beer now.
No, you can curse. You know what's funny? We were over Mother's Day thing at my wife's house, at my wife's mom's place, and my wife's mom was like, you know, my daughter didn't curse this much before she started getting involved with you. And my wife was like, well, I did curse. She was like, no, you didn't curse in front of me before you met him. And she was like, oh. Yeah, you can curse if you want. Go for it. Do your thing. No,
cool. I believe cursing helps us express our, good true feelings.
That's what I told her. I said science tells us that cursing helps you get it out as opposed to violence.
No, but okay, going back to that, look, those people are all fucking hateful, warmongering, disgusting, deep state people.
Agreed.
And, Trump has had all these people that he's chosen, Jeff Sessions, another guy, kind of like, why is he going that route?
Yeah.
And now, as a former progressive, as a Bernie supporter, I've given Bernie money. I voted Joe Stein. I'm telling you, I was with you guys at that, back in the primaries. And it's funny. It seems like so long ago.
Yeah, it does, right? It was like 2 years, but it feels like it. Yeah, I agree.
But it's like, I guess the best way to put it for people like me who that's why, and I use the term fake progressive, because in a way, deep down, I still do consider myself a progressive.
Yeah.
My values haven't changed as far as, I'm all about, hey, if we can figure out a fucking single-payer system for healthcare, if we can figure out a way to pay for free college for all, educate our citizens, whether it be in higher education, trade, technical schools, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I still have that in me,
Okay.
I'm just so you know, I am a Mexican American, but I'm for immigration reform. As far as building the wall, I live in Southern California. I go to Mexico all the time, and I see the problems, firsthand. And it's something that, as far as it goes, I'm still progressive. I don't want. I never agree with Trump on he's going to kick everyone out, or about that statement about all Mexicans are racist. Yeah,
right. He thinks you're sexist and racist, but he thinks you're racist and a drug dealer. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, do I believe he truly believes that? Do I believe Trump is a racist? Do I, I don't. I don't. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And for me, it's more like when I see the mainstream media pushing this kind of propaganda, I guess you can say, it tells me that, okay, you know what? It gives me even more, solace that, I am right, that Trump isn't a racist. But that people can vary on their opinions on that. That's completely fine. But
yeah.
But as far as all that other stuff, that's where...
Let me ask you this real quick. Do you believe we have a major immigration issue where we have a lot of people coming across the border illegally?
Yes. Yeah, we do. And like I said, I live in Southern California. I see that for myself. I know illegal aliens who have committed felons, who have been deported and know that. I know them personally. And it's something... so when you hear about like that one video with the guy, with the MAGA guys from the LA City Council. You know, I work in that area right there, and it's like, you know, there are problems, and it's not just, you know, it's not racist. They were black guys saying all that stuff on the city hall or the city council meeting. You know, it's affecting Americans. So I'm more concerned with legal Americans as opposed to illegal immigrants. If
that's kind of what I was getting at. People who are coming across the country, they tend to commit less crimes. I mean, it's not one of those things where we're inundated with crime per se. And beyond that, do you believe that the wall is going to prevent it or stop it?
The wall, I mean, I don't even believe in like building a wall. I'm deep. I said I'm progressive. Deep down, I'm an environmentalist. I grew up on Captain Planet, Ferngully. You know.
Me too.
I don't want a wall.
You're telling our age. Like, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Exactly. But I don't want a wall going through it and dividing the landscape and fucking with, you know, the environment and nature itself. You know, animal. I can imagine it causing all kinds of problems. You know, but we do, and that's what when Trump talked about building the wall. Yeah, maybe he was, grandstanding, or he was, dog whistling, if you want to call it, to the voter base.
He said Mexicans were rapists and drug dealers. I think there may be a few good ones, but, you know, that's...
Exactly.
But Mexicans aren't rapists and drug dealers. I guess that's what I'm getting at.
I know, exactly. And but do I truly believe that he said that because he means it deep down in his heart and he's a fucking avid racist and he believes that? No. I believe he said that to pander to his base. Just like,
why not? I guess that's what I'm getting at. But why not? Like, that's, you know what? I had a conversation with a Hillary supporter one day, and I kind of made the point to her. I said, you realize she wants to put a missile defense shield in Syria, and she said, okay. I said, if Hillary Clinton shoots down a Russian jet, you understand we're going to be at war. And she says, oh, she just said that. She doesn't mean it. It's like, but why don't y'all believe that they mean this stuff when they say this stuff?
Well, I guess then that's where, because like a lot of the progressives, and I'm doing the finger quote.
Go ahead.
They tell you to stop talking about Hillary. The Democrats, they tell you to stop talking about Hillary, but everything revolves back to Hillary. As far as what the progressives, what our party used to stand for, what we try to implement within the Democratic Party. Yeah. It's not. There is no more Democratic Party, and because Hillary is still in charge, whether people want to believe it or not. Or
I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, so
you know, it's funny. I agree with you on this, Siler, and I think that's kind of that's the direction to which I think I understand where you're coming from. It's like what it used to mean to be a lefty or a Democrat has changed. It's fundamentally changed. Like, and this idea of the base in the party and all this other stuff. The base in the party, I don't necessarily know if the base is still part of the party. And the sooner they realize it, the better off they'll be. So I agree with you on that.
And for me, yeah, you know, when I hear, especially H.A. Goodman, my story, Jamal. Yeah. I was probably like a lot of people here. You know, I was a big TYT fucking fan. Like,
me too.
I mean, I can't believe how.
At the very least, I used to like it during the primaries. Yeah, during the primaries.
During the primaries, remember Whisper of a Dream? Remember all that? I used to me and my friends used to watch that shit. We used to.
Oh man, that brings back memories. Whisper of a Dream.
So people who want to call me, I'm just a Trump shield or a right wing troll, they can go fucking suck a dick because. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think you're a right wing troll. Like, I don't take it that way. I take it as.
I swear.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean. I'm bad at interrupting. I'm sorry.
No. It's okay. Go ahead. You said you don't think I'm a right wing troll, and I appreciate that because I'm not.
Yeah, I don't take you that way. I take you as you were probably a Democrat at one point, just like I was. I take it as you're a Sanders supporter. I take it as he might have opened your eyes, or you kind of had this thing, holy shit, right, this guy's right. I take it as the moment that he was cheated and he turned around and said, vote Hillary, you're like, okay, something's wrong with this picture. The moment that he won, there's something much wrong with this picture. Like, you know what I mean? It's jarring. It's hard to get across to Democrats. I don't think they realize it. It was a jarring thing.
And then to kind of keep with that, because that's where I wanted to go with it, because, you know, I was with that whole, TYT, I swear to God, what the hell did they do, you know? But it's kind of like, okay, when I realized that the party was fucked, or the Democratic Party was done for, was right after the New York primaries, actually. Yeah. Because that's when I noticed, right after that, that's when Cenk got on board, like, okay, well, that's it, we got to go for Hillary. Right after that, didn't even wait for the California primary, nothing, with all the illegal vote tampering and all the kinds of shenanigans in the California primaries where I live at, keep in mind, like, that went on, that Debbie, the same progressive, another person who gets shitted on for fucking telling the truth by other progressives, which makes me fucking sick. And that's where my anger, I guess, comes from. And people in the chat, they've been,
she's awesome.
You know, And Debbie, I mean, it's funny. I was still kind of, even after the news primary, even after Bernie told us to endorse, I was still like, okay, Bernie just had to do it for whatever reason, reason A, B, or C, whatever the hell. And Debbie, and I remember listening to her, she was like, fuck no, Bernie, fucking, he's a cuck, fuck that, that's what sold us out along, you know. And I remember listening to her, like, I used to like give myself, like, she would put out a video and I would wait like a week before I listened to it because I didn't want to hear what she had to say about
righteous anger.
And
that's what it was.
And finally,
anger.
And at one point, finally, I was like, fuck, I got to accept this fact that she is speaking the truth, that Bernie was never the answer, that he's been a part of the problem. He didn't do anything to fight any of the corruption, any of the voting irregularities, any of that stuff during the whole primary. So and that's why, and Jamal, I give you guys your subs shit, because, you know, every now and then I still hear you on the Bernie train.
Look, if Sanders runs, Sanders has my vote. Because I love Debbie. Wait, I love Debbie to death. I love Debbie to death. But I disagree with her on saying. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, look, I take it this way. I don't take my political actors as being anything other than political actors. Meaning, do I think that they attack? I give you a perfect example. Donald Trump, when he attacked Syria recently, did he do it because he wanted to do it, or did he do it because political forces forced him to do it?
And that's a great question, Jamal. And I think that's the questions we needed to ask him about Trump.
But why does he do certain things? I mean, but that's the same point about Sanders. If you agree with that point about Trump, don't you also have to agree with that point about Sanders?
But I would say it with this, because with Sanders, we know what happened. Look at him now. He's pushing the Russiagate narrative. He's done for. He's a Democratic.
He's also talking about Medicare for all. He's also talking about college for all. He's also talking about federal job guarantee. He's pushing all this stuff. Trump just, you gotta give Trump on credit on this whole lowering the drug prescription costing. I mean, I don't know too much about what's going to happen, but if it sounds like what it sounds like, that's a good move for, you know, as far as healthcare goes. Do you remember Donald Trump said he was going to give all this money to the colleges, the black colleges?
And I thought he did, from what I understand.
No,
but now
he didn't.
Okay.
It didn't happen. It never happened.
You know? I mean, I would, and fair enough, I would check that fact out, because I'm still under the impression that he did all that stuff. But
he put it out there. You had all of these African Americans standing up beside him and everything else, and then you see the reality.
But right now, though, we're not talking about Trump. We're talking about Sanders, all that stuff. Because I was leading up to something where, you know, I said maybe I do get a little trolling in your chat. It's just because I was a progressive, and I hate to see the supposed leftover progressives keep going down the path of, like, the CTR trolls, the Hillary Clinton bots, the mainstream media narrative about Trump.
Now, to be fair, though, you know, half of my audience still dislike Sanders. I mean, half of my audience would agree with you about the Sanders stuff. Like, so it's not like the entirety of the audience is these quote-unquote fake progressives. I don't necessarily like the term fake progressives when these people are that far to the left. But nevertheless, well, however you ever need to define yourself or delineate yourself.
No, and exactly, and that's for me, though, that's where it's like, I'm done just with labels anymore. There's no more left, right, all that. And that's where people, I think, even on the far left, still need to get over, because they want to say, oh, Trump's not progressive, Trump's not this. I mean, but he has done good things, whether you like it or not.
Like,
I mean,
what? Explain to me those good things. So let's take the TPP. Let's take that. I agree with you on that as a good thing. Fair enough.
I'll say this one, and this one. I'll say this one, and this one probably might throw you off a little bit, just because I was saying about, I'm all about Captain Planet and fucking Fern Gully and stuff. What actually kind of got me to go for Trump, I guess you can say, as far as like making America great again, was the Paris Climate Agreement.
Funny enough, pulling out of the Paris Climate Agreement,
him pulling out of that, kind of put me on board, because
why?
You know, when I looked into it, and this is why. Like, when I looked into it, it was like, okay, America, we give all kinds of money over to other countries so they can go ahead and develop their green energy and all that.
Okay.
Like, I mean, how many hundreds of millions of dollars every year.
But
and then, but while it cut, but let me explain exactly why.
Finish. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Trump gets us out of that deal. Americans give all kinds of other countries money, but not only that, it also stipulated in that deal, like, for the next 10 years, India, China, Russia, they don't have to do any type of carbon cuts like America is, in a way, forced to do it.
But China has cut like 30% of it.
But I'm just saying, though, I mean, come on, India, China, and Russia. I mean, I don't know about Russia as far as pollution goes, but I don't think China's the fucking, the most environmentally friendly country in the world. I don't think India is, I mean, the goddamn Ganges River, fuck. Would you go swim in that damn thing?
They're not. But China has been improving environmentally in space.
But the thing is, though, they, for the next 10 years, don't have to worry about cutting any type of pollution down. I mean, if we're talking about on a global scale of saving the environment, what good does that do if these three powerhouse countries that do the most, probably the, I don't know for a fact, but I'm guessing they probably do the most pollution on Earth, even more so than the United States. Why? What good does it do the world? What is it going to do but just what?
So two
put
things.
a little Band-Aid on something?
Let me say two things. And it's going to sound like these two things are opposite of one another, but they're not opposites. But for the first point, the climate accord didn't go far enough, if I'm being honest. It was tepid, and it takes trillions of dollars of investment into the infrastructure across the world in order to stave off and some scientists say it's already too late. Kiss your ass goodbye. The only thing we can learn how to do is die. Like, that's where we're at. So the idea that this tepid agreement is going to somehow make these major inroads into the climate stuff, I think that's nonsense. I think that's foolhardy. I think that's like telling people to get under their desks for a nuclear missile. It's like, there's a nuclear bomb strike, so we need to get you kids under your desks to help. Nonsense. If you want to do something about the asteroid that's going to hit the planet, you need to be a little bit more extreme in the way you go about your affairs. So I'm saying that. On the second part, though, Trump pulling out of it had... Come on.
But whatever.
Is that really a reason to support? Trump pulled out of that deal, and that got me on board.
I'll put it like this.
But you know, he got out of that deal not because of the few tepid dollars. We spent $80 billion on our military just of an increase.
Look,
you're telling me
the point
do you realize
is
Amazon?
Wait.
I'll let you explain it. Hold on. Do you realize that Amazon got $270 million in a tax break? I mean, back in taxes. They didn't pay squat. The amount of money that you're saying that we're paying for the Paris thing was the amount of money that Amazon by itself as a corporation got back in taxes.
And how many of us out here use Amazon still? How many of us use Amazon?
My wife loves it. My wife loves it. But those things are somewhat systemic.
I mean,
your society organizes itself in a way where it makes it difficult not to use certain things or do certain things.
But going back to the whole climate agreement, because how you said, okay, whatever reason Trump did it for, or whatever. To America, to your average American, to the whole Make America Great Again movement, it sounds like a good thing. Why are we spending so much money in other countries when we can theoretically, now I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen to that extra money. Maybe it's going to go straight to the damn Pentagon. But then again, no one said anything about all the fucking trillions of dollars lost to the Pentagon during Obama's term. You know what I mean? So
right, because I agree with that. It's $5 trillion that was lost in the Pentagon. But what does that have to do with Trump? But I'm saying
that
200
let me explain really quick. Jamal, really quick. Because the point I was making was, Trump said America's pulling out of this. We're not going to give our money away. To the average American, that could be possibly, hey, how about we invest that money in the green energy over here? We start building factories, put Americans great to work.
But he's not.
Maybe not, but we don't know that yet.
I mean, the whole process. What do you mean we don't know that? He's been in office for 2 years.
It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years, and how much is he actually able to get done with? It's funny enough. It's just like when Obama was instructed his first 2 years by the Tea Party.
The amount of money that you're talking about in this agreement is a drop in the bucket than what America spends.
But regardless, like I said, Jamal, that's the whole point. It's just that to America, the people that voted for him, it seems like a good thing. It seems like he wants to make America great again.
But those people don't know what they're talking about. I mean, so what? It's like to a child. Something, ice cream sounds great for a child. Child believes they can eat ice cream breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I mean, but that's going back to like, hey, if you're gonna label Trump supporters in a specific basket, doesn't that sound very familiar and shit?
No, you missing what I'm saying. Let me explain what I mean.
And
just because somebody may think something is great doesn't mean it's great. That's what I'm saying. Just because you have some of the supporters who think this is awesome, it's not awesome. The money, that's a drop in the bucket. Like the amount of money, I'm trying to get across to you that he's not investing. It's not going to do anything. If anything,
but like I said,
do you realize that right now? Wait. Because I gave you the benefit of the doubt. Do you realize that right now, Donald Trump is talking about getting, like literally, trying to pay down some of the money that he's spending on these tax cuts. He's putting $1 trillion on the backs of the American public. You understand that? Like he's raising taxes on the regular person in order to give plutocrats a tax cut.
That's not true, though. That's not true.
It is true.
I mean, what are you talking about?
That's a flat fact.
No. Maybe in 10 years when the taxes, when they do cut, and like I said, I try to inform myself. I'm not just an avid Trump follower. Going back really quick because you're kind of going off topic with the Paris Climate Agreement. Yeah, I told you I don't know where that money's going to go that he's supposedly bringing back to us. I don't know.
Let's be honest.
But I am being honest.
No,
I am being honest.
Wait. Listen to what I'm saying. And I don't mean that to say you're lying. I just mean that as a way of saying the idea that you believe that Trump is going to use the drop in the bucket, the tepid amount of money that's going to the Paris Accord. That money is a drop in the bucket. You understand? They raised the military budget by like $80 billion. And you're talking about a few $100 million. That's nonsense. I mean, I know. And I never
why
said
are
it
you
wasn't
using
more.
the
Paris Accord as your argument
But
point.
but I told you that's the reason why I decided to get behind Trump, because it seems. Why not? Why are we in there? What good is it doing? Why are we wasting? Even if it is only $100 million, why are we wasting that taxpayer money? I live in California here. I have a house, and you know how much I fucking pay in property taxes over here.
And Trump, and by the way, he increased your taxes in New York and the ends.
No.
Yes,
California increased my taxes. Trust me, my federal
California
are
might have
good.
increased your taxes,
California,
but also Trump is making that
California
worse.
I was born and raised in California. I told myself I would never leave,
It's expensive.
But it's insane. And
it's
when you see the actual homeless problem out here, when you see the actual immigration problem out here, this is what Trump is reaching out to.
Let me ask you this. I'm always curious about this for California because I don't live there. So it comes across as this really lefty state. And yet they have a homeless population that's insane. I don't understand how that happens.
Hey, Jamal, every time I vote, I always vote to raise money for extra taxes for the schools. I smoke cigarettes, and I even voted out here. They passed a law where it was like $1 tax raise on cigarettes. I even voted for that. That's how much of a fucking lefty I used to be and shit. But it's like, where's all my tax money going? I mean, I don't mind it going to the schools. I don't mind it going to to kids. I don't mind all that stuff. But I see that. Like I said, I know people who are teachers here getting laid off still in California. They work with special needs kids, and the state is cutting their programming now.
Yeah.
And not just like special needs, like, as far as that goes, it's more like mentally disturbed kids.
Yeah.
And you know what's going to happen now here in California? What's going to happen now that they're cutting her program? She's getting laid off, and those kids are going to go into basically the general population schools. Mentally disturbed kids. That's California right there.
Yeah.
Everyone's seen the videos about the homeless camp in San Diego, Anaheim over here.
Yeah.
Like it's where's that money going? Where is it going?
I agree.
I mean,
and you know what's wild? I think there's a lot of right wingers who ask that question. Like I think there's a lot of right wingers who said, "Look, I think everybody should have health care, but I don't know where my tax money goes." You. I think a lot of them say that. I don't know where my tax money goes. Like it seems like they're wasting my tax money. I think a lot of people say that. But I'm trying to make the point to you that Donald Trump. I know you're trying to make the point of, well, that's in 10 years, but ultimately he gave plutocrats a tax cut, putting $1 trillion on the back of the American public, while at the same token saying, okay, the taxes for the middle wage or low or the poor are going to increase in the period of time. I'm saying, why are you increasing taxes on the low end of the political spectrum at all? And you understand these guys are also going to go after Social Security and Medicare. Paul Ryan would not. Well, I think it was Paul Ryan, would not own up to the fact that he would not go after those programs.
Kind of like how Obama went after Social Security. Kind of like how Obama did that.
He didn't cut it. He didn't just go after it. And
I'm not saying that to prove a point. I'm just saying, like, it's been going on. I mean, if Trump is going to do it, let's see him do it. I mean, Obama actually did attempt to cut Social Security and Medicare.
Yeah, he tried to, yeah. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he did.
Has Trump did that yet? Has Trump did that yet? No. Has Trump went into war with Korea? Has Trump went into war with Syria?
Come on,
but that's what I'm saying, though. He hasn't done any of the stuff that we're discussing yet. I say...
Did he try to get rid of Obamacare?
Step back away.
Yes.
Step back away.
Yes.
Yeah,
he did.
Thank God he did.
And after trying to say he was going to have big, beautiful health care for everybody. I remember during the campaign trail, he said everybody was going to have health care. No. He wanted to cut Obamacare. He wanted to get rid of it. In fact, he was chastising Republicans.
Which the majority of Americans agreed with. I mean, what do you want Trump to do?
No, they did not. No, they did not. Come on, no, they did not.
I know a lot of people.
You may know a handful of people, but that is not the majority of Americans.
Well, but okay, and that's something that we can agree or disagree on.
That is not the majority. Come on, man. The majority of Americans did not agree with Donald Trump getting rid of Obamacare.
Well, and what has he gotten rid of? I mean, besides the tax penalty for not having health care, what has he gotten rid of? How has people's medical insurance policies
gone up?
I mean,
The Republican
whole
Party has been
Obamacare was-
doing things that undermine the
but look-
Obamacare thing that increased the rates on the people in the Obamacare thing. When I make
But
this
see,
case
now
that
look,
Obamacare
but-
is going up, it is going up. But part of that reason is because Republicans are fucking around with some of the provisions in the plan.
I mean, I remember fucking even TYT being against Obamacare about this because what was Obamacare? It was a big handout to the fucking big pharma. It was a big handout to health insurance companies.
It was.
That's all it was.
But Siler,
So
nothing.
getting rid of
but
it,
it's
once
not.
it-
But getting rid of it is not a better option. You understand what people were going through
Well, but-
before Obamacare was put into place.
But I'm all about, hey, look what Trump's doing right now with the medical drug prescription ban. I mean, they're talking about this is supposed to be like changing the whole way it works. Maybe this is a good start for where we need to be at if we want to talk about making more medical coverage affordable. Maybe this is a start.
I haven't seen the thing that Trump is doing, so I can't talk about it. I haven't seen it. But
well,
what is it
I mean,
called?
definitely
You said it's
look
called
into it.
medical.
No, he's doing some. I don't know what the specific term is, but
What is
he's
it, like drug plan?
lowering. Just look up lowering prescription drug costs. Drug costs.
Okay.
Making it illegal for I don't know the specifics, but basically like I said, I live in Southern California. I go get my asthma medicine, even though I have health insurance. I go get my asthma medicine in TJ in Mexico because one little thing of an inhaler is $5 over there. Over here it's $80. I want to get it.
You're bringing drugs across the border. You're one of those Mexican drug dealers, man. You're bringing that stuff across the border.
Hey, man.
Donald Trump is trying to kick you out of the country, my man. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been doing that since I was. I'm 35 now. I'll age myself, but I've been doing that since I was 18, going across the border. I've gotten dental work done over there before I had insurance.
I'm joking.
No, I know you. Hey, Jamal. I honestly, after all this, me, you even banned me the other day from your chat room. What's up with that, dog?
The only reason I would ban somebody from my chat if they were saying they were being just trolling ridiculously.
In a way, though,
I ban you. No. If I ban you, I wouldn't be able to see you. I think what I did was somebody said, no, that wasn't you. Okay, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember the thing. But usually the only way I do that is somebody is attacking somebody else.
No, it was, but look, you did ban me, but it's okay, though, because I'm just glad that we're actually having this conversation, because like I said, and kind of bringing it all back to the original reason why I guess you can say I trolled your chat, or I trolled, or what your viewers tell me I'm always trolling and stuff, because I always bring up H.A. Goodman, and it's going back to all that about all that stuff that we're watching TYT, fucking drinking the fucking Democrat Kool-Aid for so long, and then the first guy I found after the New York primaries in June, the first guy I recommended, YouTube, thank God it was still working at the time, recommendation, it's H.A. Goodman.
Okay.
I watch him, and then bam, he leads me on to other people. He led me on to Tim Black, who hey, fuck it, I'll say it, I think Tim Black did H.A. Goodman dirty. Leaving his homie behind because H.A. Goodman decided not to blame Trump for the problems, or to not focus on to keep focusing on the Hillary investigations and to keep doing that, or to even just for not talking shit about Trump. And that's what the feeling I got about how all that shit went down.
Wait. So just so I'm clear, your issue is I don't like people talking shit about AJ. That's what it boils down to, right?
No. That's not my issue. But this is the reason why I'm here. The reason why even we're having this conversation, because the reason why AJ even referred me to you.
Yeah.
Hey, check out Jamal Thomas, and it's like, okay,
But you understand, I didn't take the Tim Black route. I always consider HA to be a friend of the show. I may disagree with HA on certain issues.
I respect the fact that you say that, because a lot of people, like I said, but for me at least, it's the whole, this is where I think the progressives, quote unquote, are messing up. Because look at the hatred that HA Goodman gets now just for, it's not
because he's a Trump supporter and they don't like Trump.
But H.A. Goodman's values haven't changed.
But you can understand this. Look, here's the thing, Siler. I think this is what people bump heads on. Like, it's if I don't like war, and I don't like issues of war. I don't like the country pivoting to issues of war. I don't like people lining themselves up. I didn't like it when Obama was murdering those people with drones. I didn't like it when Bush was murdering those people with drones. I don't like when Trump is murdering those people. Do you realize he put those things into the CIA so people can see how many people he was murdering?
Yeah.
This is gross.
The drone program still goes on.
It still goes on. And I guess my point is, for me, most of the time that the stuff he talks about, I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me so much. I don't care one way or the other. I understand, at least I thought I understood what he was doing. Pretending as if all of these people who are in the Trump administration push for war with Iran or regime change with Iran is not doing it. I think that's dishonest. And not just dishonest. I think it's...
No one's pretending that. I've never heard.
I
HA
have a
say he
tweet.
agrees with
I have a
Trump's
tweet from HA saying they're not pushing for war. I have a tweet saying America is not going to attack Iran.
Hey, now that's different than him supporting them. I don't think they're pushing for war either. I think it would be a foolish idea right now if you're looking from the Trump administration side. Why in the hell he's breaking ground on North Korea right now? Even a lot of vice progressives don't even want to give Trump credit for that. Even after the President Moon of South Korea came out and said that Trump deserves, and I quote, big credit for the peace talks, they still don't want to give him any credit on that.
I have a video giving Trump credit for the North Korea thing. Now, to be fair,
but I'm talking. I'm not saying you. I'm saying that. But a lot of these people on the left still, they don't want to do that. And HA is not supporting. HA is not like, oh, Trump's going to save the world. Trump is that. He's just saying, and that's where I think that's why I love HA, because he finally realized. Like I said, I was a Trump. I got on the Trump train before HA did. I used to fucking still cringe when HA would bring up Bernie Sanders and Nina Turner and all that. It's like, come on, HA, wake up. But I still love you because HA always speaks the truth and shit. And so anyone calling him titles clickbait, all that shit, he's only done that because the CTR chose just to give him shit for his indictments or internet titles that he did during the primaries, which are true. The fucking bitch should have been indicted. Hillary Clinton should be fucking indicted.
Hillary should have been indicted. But that's a different thing than making a title saying that she is going to be. That's why people gave him shit about it.
But that's the point. What is wrong with the title? If it was anybody else during the
not illegal.
If it was anybody else during the primary, anybody else, they would have been indicted, and then HA would have been vindicated as far as that goes. But because it's not HA's fault, Hillary didn't know that James Comey was in on it, that Hillary Clinton was above the law.
Look, I understand you've taken HA's argument on this. Fair enough. But fact is, HA didn't know Hillary Clinton was going to be indicted. Wait. Whether she should have been is something separate than whether or not the person knows it. Those are different things. If I make a title saying Bernie Sanders is president of the United States and Bernie Sanders is not president of the United States, and I say, well, fuck, man, they cheated him. He should have been president. Well, I mean, come on. That's essentially the same thing. This should take place. It didn't take place, but the person didn't know.
Sorry, I gotta get another beer.
And by the way, I don't want to give shit about the HA stuff because I don't want to get into the clickbait stuff or whether or not he was clickbaiting. I'm being very specific. I want it to be Iran.
As far as we go, this is me just backing up the people who say that talking point. To me, it is a talking point.
It's not a talking point. It's true. It was clickbait.
Okay, but no. But Hillary Clinton committed crimes.
So what?
Yes or no? Do you agree or disagree?
I completely agree, but that's a separate. Wait. But you're conflating things. You're conflating.
Anyone else? But I'm not conflating.
You are conflating.
HA only said
Bernie Sanders is going to be president of the United States. Do I know that? No, I don't.
I hope not.
Should he be president of the United States? Meaning, if Bernie Sanders wasn't cheated, Bernie Sanders would have beat the stuffing out of Donald Trump. Now, if I go on my channel back in 2016 and I say Bernie Sanders is president of the United States, is that clickbait or not? It's clickbait. I don't know if he's going to be president.
Totally
if he wasn't cheated.
Though. Come on.
It's the same.
But and I'm not trying to get into an argument. Like I said, I'm not trying to go back to trolling anymore. I'm glad we're having this conversation. But to say that H.A. Goodman was not right about indictments should have been imminent. Anyone else, they would have. That's it. The book would have been thrown.
Wait. Siler, you're missing something. Hold on. You're missing something. You're fundamentally missing something. Whether or not he should have been right, it's besides the point. It's besides the point. Look, and to be fair, I don't even want to get onto this one because I don't really care about but his titles. He can name his stuff whatever he wants.
But that's just one of my arguments, I think, and hey, that's my opinion.
But the argument doesn't work. It's not an opinion. That's not an opinion. He didn't know. Comey, Hillary Clinton should have been perp walked. But I fully agree with it. Whether you want to talk about the emails or the Clinton Foundation, that woman should have been perp walked. Agreed. Completely agree. Flat fact, agree. We have no disagreement. We are arm in arm. We are walking in the sun together. Now, that is a different conversation on was she perp walked? And the answer is no, she wasn't. She had friends in the Democratic Party. She had friends in the FBI and all this other stuff. Fair enough. I'm making a point to you that making a title saying that this is the case when that is not the case is clickbait. Now, I don't care about this, so I don't necessarily want to push on this particular point, but it is.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's clickbait when he was right. It's not clickbait.
But he wasn't right. She wasn't perp. Is Hillary Clinton in prison? Is she in prison?
But, I mean, like I said, of course not. She's above the law.
There you go.
How was AJ supposed to
So was the title right or wrong?
It was right. She should have been indicted. They should have been eminent. Any other American citizen, those
be honest. Be honest.
Eminent.
Be honest. You're not being honest.
I'm not honest. I'm being honest.
You're not being honest. You're not being honest.
I don't need a bullshit. I don't know.
No, you're bullshitting. Because no, you're bullshitting, Siler. Because the truth of the matter is, what you could say that something was clickbait. That you're acting as if that's such a negative thing that you don't necessarily want to own it.
I'm just saying it's an attack on H.A. Goodman. That it's just it's a talking point. It is a
talking point for an attack for H.A. I agree.
When I see it come from progressives, when I see that talking point coming from progressives, it fucking hurts because
why? H.A. say he's not a progressive.
It hurts me. H.A.'s got tough skin like a motherfucker. But me, as
H.A. has taken a lot of shit. He has taken a lot of shit. I agree with you.
And I feel like, hey, I mean, I wish I could start a show like you. And that's why I said I respect you, Jamal. You're putting your opinions out there for the world to see, for people to criticize.
And by the way, I like H.A.
At least you're willing to have the discussion.
I like H.A. My like of H.A. hasn't changed one iota. I'm
not saying that at all.
It's like with Debbie. It's like Debbie has certain perspectives that I don't necessarily agree with. But do I love Debbie to death? Love her to death. She can come on my channel anytime. Love her to death. H.A. same way. Love him to death. He can come on my channel anytime. Do I agree with the Zionism stuff? No.
I wouldn't even say H.A.'s a Zionist. That's another attack that they use against him where H.A. has said multiple times he wants to see a Palestinian state. How is he a Zionist? Like, I don't understand.
What are you talking about? I had a conversation with H.A. Like, he's been on my channel for a debate on this.
H.A. said he was a Zionist. Is that what you're saying?
H.A. has come on his channel saying, but let me say it this way, because these words, sometimes the words get slippery. What a person, listen to what I'm saying. If somebody says they're a feminist, is what they say as a feminist the same thing as somebody else meaning they're feminist? It's like the words get slippery. So I don't want to say yes and then somebody says, well, no, because he didn't live up to this, and this points. What I would say is there are a lot of traits of things that he said that go along the line with the Zionism stuff, especially within regards to Israel. And across the board, when something comes up, he takes this disposition. Let me say it this way. H.A. would say, I get shit from people who say I'm not right-wing enough from the standpoint of Israel. And I get shit from people who say I'm not left-wing enough. So he says he gets shit from both. From my perspective, a lot of the stuff that he says definitely falls into that camp of Zionism. I asked him when he was on my show, I said, you understand that there's a religious thing, right? That we don't consider religion when we're having these conversations. He said, yes. And the first thing that we get to is somehow Israel or Israelis belonging to that particular part of the world. If that's not Zionism, what is? I was making this point. I said, well, as I said, religion doesn't play a role in this. So any kind of notion of Jesus and everything else doesn't apply. It's rooted. Look back at the video where I had a conversation with H.A. It starts off that way. That's literally the starting point of the conversation with him bringing up this kind of right of return stuff. So, but again, I don't hold that against them. I don't
see H.A. Goodman as reading the Torah or any of that kind of stuff.
No, he's not Netanyahu. He's nowhere near yet Netanyahu.
I still say he's not a Zionist. I mean, unless he come out and said he's a Zionist, I've heard him say multiple times that he is for a Palestinian state.
Yes, he is.
And at this point, like most people, who gives a fuck about Israel? Why?
And again, I gotta be honest, Siler. I feel weird having this conversation, and the reason why I say that is, I consider H.A. a friend of the show. I like the guy. And so I don't like these are like minor distinctions to me that don't really matter to me, if that makes sense. Like, it's one of those things, if I know you're saying that these are attacks that people use, I guess I'm trying to make the point that people aren't fake progressives just because they're using these attacks. Some of these attacks are true, or at the very least, boil down to this kind of subjective area that you can kind of see where they're coming from when they're making these cases. Is that fair? I mean, you're acting like these things are objective, flat facts.
I don't agree.
So you think they're flat facts?
I don't agree with that.
You think they're flat facts? You mean you believe there's no subjectivity to this at all?
As far as what, the H.A. being Zionist?
As for either the Zionism stuff or the clickbait stuff.
I mean, because look, I'm not going to say I'm like a connoisseur of world politics. The word Zionism, what the hell does that really mean? I mean, that means they're pro-Israel 100%.
Then how can you tell me that he's not something if you don't have a clear idea in your head of what it means?
Well, I'm just saying, no one really has a clear idea. The people that call him a Zionist don't have a clear idea what the fuck it means. That's my point. It's like, when I hear him say that he wants a Palestinian state, that makes me seem, okay, he's for a two-state solution.
Just because somebody's for a two-state solution doesn't just because you're for a two-state solution, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have this thing in your head of this kind of right of return, meaning that people somehow came here from this kind of promised land. I mean, come on. I mean, it goes beyond just two-state solution.
That's all bullshit. I was raised Catholic, the whole Moses thing and all that stuff. Fuck all that bullshit. You know what I mean? I don't think H.A. I never heard him preach that ever. Like,
fair enough.
That the rightful. I never heard him say that. But that's just going to the whole point about where the reason why I'm here. I mean, and like I said, I'm so glad that we're talking, Jamal. Because
I love the fact that we're talking because I don't want. Look. I don't care if I have trolls in my thing. I don't want people to be racist, anti-Semitic. I don't want people to be bashing anybody or anything like that. So I like the open disposition. I like people being able to talk. I don't want people being brutalizing anybody else in the chat, nothing like that. So I like this thing of being able to have a conversation and we just talk about the disagreements. I don't think these disagreements are that stark. I think the disagreement comes down to this thing of Trump. HA is a friend of the show that hasn't changed. I think I'm weirded out slightly by having this conversation, I'm being honest. Because it's like having a conversation about something that's so minor.
And I'm pretty sure HA doesn't mind. I don't think he's going to take any offense to anything that you're saying, that I'm saying. You know, he literally is a good man, in my opinion.
Okay, AJ is a good man, fair enough.
And so
but it's still weird.
I don't think. But
it's one thing. Look, let me say it this way. It's one thing if we're having a conversation, and if I'm having to go and I say I disagree with HA on this very specific point. Let's say about the Trump stuff, the Iran stuff. That's different because for me that's a political disposition that we have, that we're kind of just bumping heads on this thing. Getting into the minutia of whether something is clickbait or not, it feels weird to me. I understand what you mean though. You're saying people use that as attacks on HA. That is true. They say, oh, this guy's a clickbaiter and everything else. I think that is one of the weakest arguments against HA that I think that's there.
Thank you.
And the reason why I say it is because it doesn't matter. Like, it's one of those things without a distinction. He put a thing on his channel because he tries to get people to watch. And then trying to get people to watch, he's making an argument.
I don't think that I disagree. I think HA is a genuine guy. He doesn't care who watches him. He doesn't care if you're a Trump supporter. He doesn't care if you're a progressive. He doesn't care what.
Oh, no, I see what you mean. No, he doesn't care who watches, but he does want people to watch. Otherwise, you wouldn't do a channel.
No, I mean, yeah. But of course, but
that's why I don't think the clickbait thing is a big. That's why I don't care about the clickbait stuff, because it's of course you want people to watch your channel.
And then let's go back to Trump now, Kyle. You're saying, because I think Trump, or HA is supporting Trump now. Like I said, to me, I think HA realizes that at this point, Trump hasn't done anything super horrible. At least it's not Hillary Clinton, and until further notice. I mean, look at the North Korean peace talks. Look at all the things that supposedly Trump was going to fucking fuck up. I mean, things are all right. I mean, thank God we didn't get Hillary Clinton. I mean, and to say that Trump or that HA is going after Trump supporters, I don't see it.
Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Okay, I see what you mean. No. Hold on. Let me answer that. Let me answer that, because I see what you mean. You're making a point that I said he's going after Trump supporters. Look, just from my experience doing the channel, and this is my own personal experience. Some of the stuff you don't know until you're doing the channel and stuff like that. You find yourself having to tap into veins of thought, meaning like you want views, you want people to watch your channel, especially if you're talking about doing it as a career or job or something like that. And what you find is there are certain people who aggregate around certain things as opposed to others. In my case, I was a lefty, so that was kind of who aggregated around. And I built my audience with each thing I said, and those people started crowing around whatever I'm saying. If you're going after Hillary Clinton, well, you're going to get certain people who dislike Hillary Clinton. Now, I'm not saying he started off his channel that way. I'm not even saying it's a good or bad thing. You call it patriots? Is that what you call it?
No, I said those people are called patriots.
They're called patriots. Fair enough. Those people are called patriots. Look, sometimes I think you're taking what I'm saying as being bad, and I'm not. I'm taking it as just kind of the way it is what it is. Like, it's like saying, he's going after Bernie supporters. It's like, well, yeah, I am going after Bernie supporters because those are the people who are in my ilk. Those are similar. If some people may even say, I'm going after Trump supporters. And if they're saying that, yeah, that is true. But I'm going after Trump supporters because I'm trying to drag them over to my side of things. I don't think we're that far apart. I don't think the gulf between what supporters who voted for Trump and the supporters who voted for Sanders, I don't think it's that far apart. I honestly don't.
And Jamal, thank you for saying that, because that, I think, what we should be doing. I mean, why are people giving shit that HA's even going? I mean, we should be going at the left, or where we used to be, the progressive, whatever, liberals, whatever the fuck you were called.
Yeah.
We should be going after Trump supporters. We should be trying to talk to the other side, to reach out. I mean, at least if we could find some type of common ground, then we can meet in the middle somewhere and then actually take out this fucking deep state, this problem.
Right there. And
I think
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
Go
agreeing
ahead,
with you on this. I'm
No,
agreeing
no,
with
go
you completely on this, probably more than anything else that we've talked about. And the reason why I'm agreeing with you on this is because I've made this point myself. It's this thing of what's in place as government is not serving the interests of the American public. It's not. Whatever party you're talking about, Democrats or Republicans, either one. Both of them have their own interests, and both of them have been seeing to their own interests. And I look at this thing of you have these people on the right who Donald Trump running that race saying, you know, he's going to have health care for everybody. He's going to have $10 minimum wage increase. I mean, he's saying this stuff, and this stuff is to the left. Like, this is far to the left. And the argument has been made for the past 50 years that the Republican people don't want that stuff. They love these idea of tax cuts. They love these idea of getting plutocrats more money. They love these idea of not having services for the regular people. They love this stuff. And you find out that's not true. That if one of the people ran in the party like that, they would vote for those people, meaning those people are not these right-wing maniacs that people made them out to be. If those people got a decent economic message of, look, your life can be better, hence, full stop, those people will be receptive to that message. Now, Democrats have said that's not true, that's not the case, and so they just kind of abandon those people. Do you realize 50% of the population don't vote? That blows me away. And no one asks the question, why don't these people vote? So I agree with you that this idea of getting independents, you can get Republicans, and you can get this nice mix of people that kicks these people out of their seats. Like the crooks and the cronies who are there right now. You can get a mix of those people. Like 20% of Trump supporters voted for Obama. Think about that shit. 20 or 30%. That's a large number of people who apparently became racist after Obama.
I almost voted for. I voted for Obama twice. The only reason I didn't vote for Trump because
right there.
I was still on the progressive. I got
right
still
there.
But
that's my point. That's my point. I don't think. Look, I don't know how. One of the things I found problematic was trying to define who I was after the election and everything. Because I realized I'm not a Democrat. I don't know what I am. I clearly, they don't follow up with my own ideology. They've moved so far to the right that these people essentially are, right wingers. If they were in another country, they'd be far right. And it became this thing of, okay, well, what am I? And not just what am I, realizing that there's a large segment of the population that also is in that same boat of not knowing what they are and not finding their interests represented by the political class. I consider you in that boat, Siler. I consider a lot of people in that boat. I don't necessarily know what I am. What I don't want, or at the very least I hope not happens, is this thing of, well, Donald Trump is different. And because Donald Trump is different, I'm somehow lurching on to that particular thing. Because he's just a Republican. Like, I understand.
Well, that's where I'll disagree with you there, because up to that point, I don't think Trump's a Republican. I mean, okay, and don't get me wrong. At this point, I learned from Bernie Sanders. I learned, not to follow someone blindly.
Yes.
Obviously.
No, that's a good thing. That's a positive understanding, by the way.
And so guys like me, guys like AK, we're not following Trump blindly, but we're just giving the man credit when it's credit's due. So far, so good. You have to at least admit that's what these progressives have a problem with.
No. It's not that progressives have a problem with that per se. You have some Democrats who have a problem with it. The problem that progressives
at this point, anyone that sounds like a Democrat, I mean, these progressives, they sound like Democrats. That's what they sound like.
No, they don't. I mean, it depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking about TYT, then some of them, they sound like Democrats. I always call TYT and MSNBC.
I've had conversations in your chat regarding the North Korea peace talk. I mean, look how the media, they did not want to give Trump any. I mean, when Trump was tweeting about Rocket Man and fucking big buttons and all that, the media was talking about, Trump's going to get us into World War II, all this stuff.
Yeah, it's called brinksmanship. He was almost gotten into a war.
And now,
but you understand that could have gotten us into a war. But you understand that. Wait. Before you say anything else, you understand that behaving that way is atrocious, and it could have gotten us into a war.
But the thing is, and I disagree. Okay, look.
You don't believe that deriding other leaders could potentially get us into a war?
Well, look. Look at this. This is a theory I heard. I mean,
you can have whatever hypothesis you want. You don't believe that other browbeating other leaders could get us into a war.
Let me explain. As far as that whole situation with the tweets and everything. Let's look at the results that they got us right now. We're in historic times where Trump's going to have a summit with him in June next month. But look, I'm just saying. Look, as far as that goes, and forgive me, I'm like four beers in, starting to kick in here. But look,
wait. Before we go into anything, what I don't understand how somebody could be a lefty And then all of a sudden start looking at all this right-wing stuff that Trump is doing. He's just Republican. I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying, but he's just Republican. You've had Republicans that do deals in other countries, by the way.
Jamal, and that's why I think the left is really fucking up.
No, it's not. It's right. It's right. That's dead on. Trump is just a Republican.
There is no more left to right no more. That's where I'm at.
No. I understand. But there is such thing as a Democrat and Republican. And Trump is just a Republican.
Democrat and Republicans are the same. I don't think, we can say that as that's your opinion that he's a Republican. I don't think he's a Republican.
He's literally a Republican. He ran in the Republican race for president.
And then, like, I used to listen to Howard Stern all the time.
He ran in the race as a Republican. Trump is a Republican. I mean, are you denying that too? You're also denying that Trump is a Republican?
No, I'm not denying it. But Jamal, see, now that's not fair right there.
You said he wasn't a Republican.
As far as like what his values are.
But his values, he's a valueless person. I don't think he has values at all.
Well, see, once again, that's where I disagree. I mean, if maybe CNN agrees with you on that, I don't. I've heard him before.
You disagree with me on a lot of this stuff, but objective reality disagrees with you. Donald Trump ran in the race for the Republican Party. In addition to running in the race for the Republican Party, he has tried to undermine the deal with Iran, which he did. He's lined up to fight Iran, which all is Republican dogma. He's gone in destroying like environmental policy. That's a Republican dogma. He's given his cronies a massive tax break. All of that is Republican dogma. I don't understand. What do you believe that he's done that's something else other than Republican dogma?
Well, how about the Korean Peace Summit? Look what's happening right now.
Do you realize that Richard Nixon went over to China in this kind of kumbaya moment with China? That's not foreign to Republican politics.
And then Richard Nixon also created the EPA.
Yes, he did. That's my point. This is not foreign to Republican politics. Just because Trump did something in North Korea doesn't necessarily mean that's foreign to Republican politics.
And maybe that's where we can at least agree to disagree on, because, like I said, at this point, let's go back to this Korea thing. Is that a Republican policy to get Korea to get on the negotiation table as far as peace talks go? And going back to those tweets that Trump said that you said that could have caused the war.
Yeah, it could have caused the war.
But look, me branching out to after I had my whatever you want to call it, awakening or whatever. Mm-hmm. I branched out right after I found H.G. Goodman. YouTube recommended me to your other caller mentioned, or the fake sider mentioned it. Stick, Text, and Hammer 666. I want to throw that name out there because it, and hard bastard. I love those three are my top guys right there. But Stick, Text, and Hammer, you can call. I mean, most people would have called him he used to identify as a libertarian. Well, I guess you could say he's right wing, but he's not. He voted for Obama the first time around. He voted for Ron Paul the second time around. But if you were to see his channel during the primaries, he was trolled by Clinton, by CPR trolls. He was a right winger. He's a crazy freaking libertarian, whatever.
Yeah.
But he made a good video about, and this was way before these peace talks and stuff, about when Trump was tweeting about the Rocket Man and all that. He said that, look, what Trump is doing is that's where Obama messed up at, and that's where George W. Bush messed up at. That's where Bill Clinton messed up at, with as far as how they negotiated with Korea. I highly recommend checking out the video, but it was about basically how Asian countries, how their politics are different as far as how you have to go about certain things and the way you talk to them and everything. That they respond more with force, I guess you could say.
Being an asshole.
I'm not a. No, but
that guy would know. That guy totally would know.
I'm just saying though, like that was a great video. As far as I don't know the statistics if there is any.
Do you understand that this has more to do with China than Trump?
But no. But look, okay, no. But look, China's been using North Korea as a fucking shield forever, and now because of these tweets, even China had to back out and say, "Fuck, there's only so much we can do for you, North Korea. We can't do this anymore." And you don't think China had any involvement with them talking? I'm pretty sure they fucking did.
I think China had involvement in getting North Korea to. I don't think China wants North Korea to have a nuclear bomb. That's the first case. And beyond wanting China, I don't think China. Look, if Trump,
do you think China didn't have any involvement with them with them coming up to the peace table?
I think China had. I think all of it was involved. I think the overwhelming majority of it was involvement of China pushing.
Well, so we agree on that. But going back to that, just those tweets that Trump did, according to Stix's theory, and which he put that video out.
He knows dick about Asian countries and the policies in Asian countries. Come on.
I'm just saying that was his theory. Go watch the video.
And it's a hypothesis. That was his hypothesis.
But it seemed to have worked, though. That's my point. It seemed to have worked. So if Trump would have went in over there like Obama and Bush and Bill Clinton before him and done the whole like, oh, we're gonna give away,
but Siler, and look, but Siler, and we'll end it at this. I mean, we can't. You understand that whatever Trump did, all of those people would have been saying the exact same thing about any country that he was talking to.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're gonna give Trump fucking shit for almost going to war by his tweet, then you got to give him credit for the outcome that actually happened, which is peace talks. And a lot of progressives did not want to do that, even after the president of South Korea came out and said that he deserves big credit.
What I asked was, after everything that took place with Korea, what I said, is it possible that the brinksmanship was one of those things that pushed these guys to come to the table? Fact is,
yes.
And so I asked the question
theory,
because I didn't necessarily know the answer to it. Information that I read recently made the point that this had more to do with China than Trump. So that's why I'm skeptical. I understand that the optics of it. Trump is a big showman, and so here's my show and everything else. Look, if South Korea wants to give him credit for it, I have no issue giving Trump credit for this. I guess that's what. But this is kind of besides the point.
But a lot of people did. A lot of people did, and that's my whole point. Is where.
But so what? I guess what I'm saying. So what? To what end?
Or whatnot, we should
Siler, I understand. But there are a host of other things that he is horrific on. And I don't understand how he be this gross and then a guy calls himself a lefty saying, I jumped on the Trump train. I don't understand what...
I'm not a lefty no more.
Okay, but you said your values haven't changed. You said, well, my values haven't changed. I just jumped on Trump.
Values have, and I told you my values up front. Like, I still believe in those values.
How on earth do your values line up with somebody like this?
I just do. I just do, Jamal. I don't want... I'm not all of a sudden saying, oh, we shouldn't fucking pay for a free college education for kids. I fucking firmly believe that.
Do you think Trump is on board for that?
America, right now, he hasn't said that he's not. So what's the point? Why are we having?
Come on, dog. I allowed you to call in, but if you call in, I want you to be honest. I can tell you the failings of... No, you're not. No, you're not. You know, Donald Trump is not on board for college.
That's not cool, man.
You know Donald Trump is not on board for college. You know Donald Trump is not on board for college. You know that. Come on.
I don't know that. Has he said? Is there a statement that he said that he's against free public education, or is he against doing something kind of higher education reform?
Do you think Donald Trump is going to give you the big, beautiful health care that he was talking about during the primaries?
I mean, the prescription drug cost is a good start.
So you think he is going to give you the big, beautiful health care for everybody, every American?
I don't think about... See, but look,
I'm asking you straight questions because I want to see your level of honesty. You keep saying I'm being honest, and I'm asking you questions that is a definitive answer. It's a flat fact answer.
You're being dishonest, Jamal.
I'm not. Look. I think you're biased. That's what I think. I think you're biased for Trump, and I'm asking you straight questions, and you're not answering those questions.
Okay, I mean, I guess fair enough. I wouldn't say I'm biased, but we all have our own bias. I think Trump's doing a good job.
But that's a difference between a bias where I'm asking you something, you're being squirrely with the answer. Donald, Donald Trump is not on board for free college.
Go ahead and ask me again.
Do you believe that Donald Trump is on board for college for everybody, free college?
I don't know that answer. I haven't heard him say that he's not. I don't want to say that.
Do you believe that Donald Trump is on board for $10 increase in minimum wage?
$10 increase or $10?
I mean, $10 minimum wage. I'm going by what he said during the primaries. That's what I'm getting at.
What did he say during the primaries about minimum wage?
He said he was going to increase the minimum wage to $10.
I mean, let's see. I mean, has he said that he has? I mean, look.
Are you a rapist and a drug dealer?
You're making me answer questions that...
Yeah, I'm making you answer questions. Because ultimately you're telling me that I was a lefty, I was a progressive, and then I jumped on the Trump train, and I'm saying it makes no sense.
No. But your questions are kind of
straightforward. It's a straightforward question. You just don't like the questions.
Okay, do I think that he's going to fulfill his campaign promise? Yeah, I do think that. Because so far he's been good on a lot of his campaign promises. So if Trump did that, I never heard him say anything about the minimum wage. But if he said that...
he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
I'm going to go with it as of right now.
I'm going to assume that you're a rapist and a drug dealer. How about that? I mean, seeing that Trump is on board and he's a good guy, he's being honest with the stuff that he's saying. That's where we are.
I disagree with Trump when he said that.
Because it directly affected you. That's why you disagree with it. What about everything else? I'm trying to get you to this point of you're not being honest. That's what I'm getting at. I'm asking. Wait. No, stop.
Jamal,
I'm asking you straight questions.
You're calling me dishonest now.
Yes, I'm calling you dishonest. I'm calling you dishonest. I'm asking you straight questions. And in asking you straight, because I am asking you straight questions, you're not answering those questions with the answer that everybody knows the answer to.
You asked me one question, and now you're getting.
I asked you no. I asked you several questions. I asked you multiple questions, and every question you're squirrely about the answer. Do you believe that Donald Trump is going to have free college? You're a lefty. You say you believe that people should be able to go to college. Do you believe they're going to do it?
Did he say he was going to have free college?
No, he didn't. But I'm asking you, do you believe he is?
Then why the fuck am I going to believe that if he didn't say that?
But why wouldn't you answer it? That's what I'm getting at. This is kind of what I'm getting at, Solar. The answer to that question was no. And you could have said no because Donald Trump never said he was going to do it.
That was not the question you asked me first.
Yes, it was.
If Trump ran on the campaign saying that he was going to get free college for all,
he never said
Bernie Sanders did, yeah, maybe I'm going to believe him. We all believe Bernie Sanders when he fucking said it.
Solar, you're missing my point, Solar. When I asked you that question, you could have said, well, Donald Trump never said that during the campaign trail, so no.
Well, like I said, I didn't. Okay, then forgive me because I must have heard the question wrong. Ask me again, and that's my answer right there. So let's not.
So your answer is the answer that I gave. It's the answer that I filled in for you.
My answer was, well, the question again was what? Is Donald Trump gonna fight for free college for all? No, he didn't run on that. What the fuck? Why would he do that?
Then why you say that first?
I didn't say that. What do you see? That's what
I'm getting. No. You missed what I'm getting at. I'm getting to this thing of if you ask me something, if it's somebody that I'm backing, there's a spirit of what that person is representing. For example, do you believe putting in Betsy DeVos is somehow going to make America great again for schools?
And look, going back to how I used to be progressive. One of my views that have changed, and I see it all the time out here in California, the public school system. Yeah. I was always telling myself, you know what? I came out fine in the public school system, but I'm telling you, out here it's getting bad now. It's getting really bad now. I remember when teachers back in high school they were trying to start charter school systems and all that stuff, and people were against them. Oh, what are you guys, right wingers? Well, what the fuck, No, but at this point now, my views have changed a little bit.
You believe draining money from public schools is better?
No, I don't know now. Now, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in draining money from public schools. But
so look, you believe they should give money to charter and public?
The money? I mean, look, I'm not a socialist like you. I'm a capitalist.
I'm not anything. No. I'm not anything. I'm
just joking around.
You would never find a clip of me calling myself a socialist. I've always said I'm nothing. I always said I don't have a political ideology in this way.
I'm just fucking around. I just had to throw that out there. But look. As far as it goes, at this point, I'm looking at the public school system. I'm looking to the extra tax money that I'm paying out here in California, and I'm not seeing any improvement on the public school system. At this point, my daughter's 7 years old. Maybe I'm going to consider sending her to a private school. Maybe I am going to consider that now, even though I don't really have the funds to do that. At this point,
this is what I would agree with you on. This is what I would totally agree with you on. My school, the books in my school were horrendous. Like, they were falling apart at the seams. You go across town to, like, Manchester. Manchester's elementary school looks like a college.
Where are you from? I mean, you don't have to tell me, like,
no, I'm in Virginia.
But what state are you in?
I went to
Virginia, okay.
My school doesn't exist anymore. I used to go to John F. Kennedy High School. African-American school, African-American neighborhood. There was a ghetto, like, maybe 4 blocks away. The school itself was fine. The neighborhood school was fine. A few blocks away, not so much. Wouldn't be quite dead there at night. The resources get drained away from public schools in many cases. I guess my feeling is right-wingers pull resources from public institutions and public schools and then turn around and say, this thing is falling apart. Theresa May is doing it with the NHS. Oh, look at this thing falling apart. Well, you're not really funding it to the degree that it needs to be funded, and then you're turning around and pointing to it and saying a private industry could do it better. This is some gimmick that right-wingers have used in God knows how long. I feel you on this. I'm not going to keep this call much longer. But
I'm sorry, Jamal. I mean, I appreciate your time.
You're fine. I appreciate you calling in. Because I like these talks.
I wish we could go on longer because there's so much more I want to say, but I know you've had a long time. Fucking, you wasted like 30 minutes on the fake I am Siler. That's fucked up.
I have to be honest. That was fucking hilarious. That was fucking hilarious. That was a ball.
No, that's it. That was good.
Because he was like, and somebody was like, yeah, Siler. And the guy was like, no, I'm Siler. It's like, dude, the guy's saying you're not Siler. No, that guy's lying. I'm Siler. And it's like, it was this thing of, fuck, I'm busted. It's like, dude, what's your name? Come to Jesus.
That fool couldn't be Siler.
Yeah.
But hey, Jamal, I mean, I say, I mean, you've been on it, what? So you must have been going on for like 2 hours now at this
It's
point.
almost,
or so.
it's 2.5 hours, but it's okay, dude. I enjoy, believe it or not, I enjoy talking to my audience, even if I'm arguing with my audience. And this is kind of my point with the HA thing. There are things I may disagree with HA with, like specific things. But I like HA. Like, I don't know what it is. I've always considered him a friend of the show. That hasn't changed, even when I disagree with something HA is saying. So don't misunderstand
me. Like I said, I see people turn their backs on H.A. Goodman. You know, and like I said, he's my number one guy. I'm always going to defend him. I mean, if H.A. says something wrong that I disagree with, I'll call him out. But so far, I've never had to. You know, and that's where I get a little heated at.
Fair enough.
And I'm glad that we had, and you know, I'm so sorry because I'll keep going on and on. But
just so we're clear, I just want to make something very clear though. Like, disagreement is not necessarily means that you dislike them. And so I want to make that very clear.
And I would never say that you dislike H.J. Goodman. But
yeah,
when I see a lot of these, when I see a lot of these fake progressives on your chat, it's kind of like, what the fuck is going on here? Why are they doing the same things that the CTR trolls did to him?
How are they fake? Wait. Just one last point. How are they fake progressives if H.A. doesn't call himself a progressive anymore? Isn't that just somebody attacking somebody who's not a progressive?
I mean, like I said, I'm with H.A. I don't consider myself a progressive anymore either.
So how can you call somebody a fake progressive? You're not even one of them.
Well, I'm talking about these fake progressives that I see that are, and not you. I'm not saying you because, like I said, I respect the fact that you at least consider H.A. a friend, or you still, you know.
No, I like the guy.
I'm willing to have a conversation with him.
There's some people who always have a slot on my show anytime they want to come on. H.A. is one of those people.
That's nice. Very nice.
Yeah, H.A. is one of those people.
But it's like. Well, it's that's where I thank you for giving me the platform to vent my frustrations, and
I wanted you to look. I'm not against people taking the piss out of me if it's something that it was wrong or something that they disagree with me with.
No, I wouldn't call out somebody if for just shits and giggles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I do troll, but hey, you know what? That's just because it's out of the goodness of my heart. I'm trying to.
You troll out of the goodness of your heart. You troll out of the goodness of your heart. Okay. I love that line. That needs to be on a fucking t-shirt. I troll out of the goodness of my heart.
But
I'm putting that on a t-shirt. I'm gonna attribute it to you, but I'm putting that shit on a t-shirt. I troll out of the goodness of my heart. That's funny.
It's all you, Jamal. Like I said, I want to see your platform grow. You know, there's some people that I haven't given up on the left. You know, I'm still subscribed to Jimmy Dore. I
like Dore. You don't like Dore? Dore's bothering you. What's wrong with Dore?
I mean, I'm still subscribed to him because I have hope. Remember, like I said, whisper of a dream. Dore's always has been there. He's always been the shining light at TYT, even when they all fucking fell.
And mind you, they went after Dore, man. Those people were hounding the shit out of Dore.
To me though, and this is where I don't. Like I said, not trying to offend. If you like Dore, that's your own prerogative.
I like Dore, but go ahead. I like Dore, but go ahead.
I think he's doing a detriment to the actual progressives here. Finger coast.
Now, why do you believe he's doing a disservice to lefties?
Because he's still on the TYT train. How much of that $20 million do you think Jimmy Dore got? The $20 million that he refuses. No. But the $20 million, I'm not saying he got a lot. He probably got fucking pennies out of it.
You think he's bribed? Do you think Jimmy Dore's bribed?
But I'm just saying though.
What you just saying? What are you saying? I don't know what you're saying.
I'm saying Jimmy Dore has refused till this day to call out Cenk about the $20 million. Oh, he says that $20 million, it doesn't affect TYT and their talking points and what they decide to speak about. But for everyone else, it does so. And
I feel you on that. I understand where you're coming from on that. I think I've made that point too. It's like if there was anybody else, like if Jimmy Dore wasn't there on TYT, let's say Jimmy Dore was on my network, and Jimmy Dore would look at that and be like, "That looks shady to me." He would. I guarantee. I can almost guarantee.
Jimmy would call him out.
Yeah.
And at this point, we all know the reason he doesn't is because
they're friends.
I mean, if you the best case scenario is they're friends. And he doesn't want to betray his friend. I mean. Jimmy Dore was, and I kind of believe that because only a good friend would spit on Alex Jones. And I think it was a dumb move, but I see why Jimmy did it because he's backing up his homie Cenk. You know, it got heated in that YouTube studio.
Right. They used to get pissed.
And Jimmy fucked up and did something, but he was backing, like I said, I grew up in the hood. So, if I see people fuck with my friends, they're going to get fucked up. And Jimmy has that mentality, So, but it still was a dumb move. And that's the only reason why I believe that he's only not turning on TYT is because they're friends. I want to believe
I think
that.
it's their friends. I mean, think of it from your perspective. If you had a friend, let's say you did a channel, you guys started working on a channel, you guys been together for years on end. That person gets some money to update their channel. I don't think you look at it from the standpoint of fucking over. But I don't know. Now I have heard Jimmy Dore flip out one day, and Jimmy Dore says something like these guys are paid.
We all know what it is. TYT, the fusion deal, was money from the Democratic.
But see, here's the difference.
And now all of a sudden,
your world is more solid than mine. I don't know that. I think that, and that's the difference.
I mean, okay, and that's fair enough. And again, that's my opinion of the situation.
You're right.
I mean,
I'm just saying there's a difference between knowing and believing it. That's all.
But like I said, I'm still subscribed to Jimmy Dore. He's the only one that I haven't. I mean, I've shut off. I unsubscribed from Tim Black, Secular Talk, Humanist Report.
You wrote everybody off.
I was. I don't give a shit anymore at this point. Like that's how lefty I was at that point. And I remember I even used to have conversations with Mikey from the Humanist Report right after TYT bought him out. And how he changed, and yes, I did troll his comment section, and he responded to me several times. But it wasn't nothing that wasn't true that I called him out for. And just to see how people change with that. Same thing with Tim Black. All of a sudden, he's talking about doing a TYT comedy tour with Jimmy Dore and Lee Camp. Another guy, Lee Camp, who I unsubscribed from. It's like, it's just.
It sounds like you're looking for ideological purity. That's what it sounds like.
Well, no. I mean, but that's what all these progressives.
Lee Camp. So what did Lee Camp do?
At a certain point, Lee Camp was only because he spreads. I seen him do a video about. He had these two guys on that wrote a book about Trump being a racist. They went around the campaign trail and they wrote a book about it and how about Trump supporters are racist. I disagree with that. I mean, I know a lot of Trump supporters and. You can't say, I know a lot of, they're not all white. They're not all racist. I mean,
are you sure they said all of them are racist?
The whole segment was about just portraying, spreading that mainstream media narrative that Trump's a racist. Okay. And when I see that shit on
now, I have to be honest.
Tonight,
I also think Trump's a racist. What the fuck? I know
you do.
Because if anybody comes out and says Mexicans are rapists and drug dealers, and I know we're getting back into it, and I don't want to get back into it, but what am I supposed to do with this? Am I supposed to listen to what this person is saying and say he's just saying that, or am I supposed to take him at his word?
I look at it like this, because like I said, I'm Mexican. I mean, if anyone should be offended, I guess you could say it's me. Yeah. Even though I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff, because whatever, if a racist wants to be a racist and say dumb shit, I'm all about it. I used to listen to Howard Stern, and he used to be the most funniest shit regarding like racist humor.
Yeah, you said some racist shit on Howard Stern, yeah.
I mean, but it was fun. It was all in the name of fun, though. Like, where it's kind of like you should be able to have this free speech. Howard Stern was all about free speech. We should be able to have these jokes. Howard Stern, I mean, he's still on, but he would never do what he used to do back in the day for fear of being called a racist and stuff. And that's what I don't like, because at my opinion, Trump's not a racist. I'm sorry. I
understand that's your opinion, dude, but your opinion, dude, falls in the face of objective reality. I mean, and to be fair, let's be fair for a moment. This stuff is subjective. Let's be honest.
Trump is an actual racist.
Let's be honest. Some of the stuff is subjective. So, depending upon your perspective on it, the person may come away from it as, okay, I don't think that level of hatefulness is racist. My level, my scale, yeah, that's racism to me. That's racist. If somebody is running a campaign saying most Mexicans are rapists and drug dealers, A, you don't know most Mexicans. B, that's nonsense just on the face of it. Most people just want to live their life and just get along on their affairs. So there's that. If Lee Camp had somebody on this show making a case for that, then either you try to dismiss what they're saying or not. But the overwhelming
video and you'll see how retarded it was. Like,
but the overwhelming stuff that Lee Camp puts out, it's not Trump. Like in fact, the overwhelming majority of stuff that Lee
Camp, it wasn't hard to unsubscribe from him.
Fair enough. To each his own. I guess to each his own.
But we're going back to that, because one thing I did hear you say, and I'm not being dishonest, and Jamal, I will say, you gotta stop saying that I'm dishonest.
Wait. Beltazar 228. Okay? Jamal, I'm gonna let someone make the same argument for 30 minutes longer than needed. Thomas, oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I'm gonna let you go. But the reason why, the reason why I say you're being dishonest, if and I don't mean to offend by that, but come on, it's like you if Ted Cruz, that's like a Ted Cruz supporter says, It's like, hey, do you believe that Mike Pence or do you believe that Ted Cruz is going to try to put education for all? The answer is no. Of course he's not. But yet the person says, well, I've never heard him say he wasn't. Is that, it's like, come on.
Like I said.
Okay. I'm not going to keep this going because you get my point. And I think the audience gets your point. So I'm going to say thank you for calling in.
Racist thing. One time you said it yourself, and I said I'm not being dishonest. That's why I called. That's why I trolled. That's why I'm glad that we were talking, because one point you said during the time you said that HA goes after Trump supporters.
Yeah,
you said that at least and I quote, at least 15% of Trump supporters are racist.
Oh yeah, I do think a percentage of the supporters are racist. Yeah, because I think it's a percentage of the Republican Party are racist.
What's the percentage of Democrats that are racist?
I don't know.
There you go. I mean,
that doesn't tell you anything. I mean, no. Be honest. Stop. Wait. Siler, come on, Siler. Be honest.
Stop saying to be honest.
I know I say be honest because I'm saying this because you're saying things that are flying in the face of the way of reality.
I don't like that.
You might not like it, but it flies in the face of reality. That's all. That's what I mean by that. It flies in the face of reality. That is a level of bias.
I am being honest.
That is a level of bias that is breathtaking. That is a level of bias that's breathtaking.
I'm being honest. But look, going back to that though.
No, we're not going back to anything. I mean, I'm going to let you go. Siler, thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling. I appreciate your call. You had like 30 minutes to make your point.
Nah, that's cool, man.
And people can hear whether or not you made your point and whether or not, they believe your case. I have to be honest, I'm very skeptical of this case.
15% of Trump supporters racist. How many Hillary supporters are racist?
I don't know.
Why not talk about that number?
But I do know a lot of racists jumped into the Republican Party, and those hardcore racists are still there. And I do know he has a base that Donald Trump knows full well is racist and a bunch of white nationalists and alt-rights.
And Hillary's over here talking about carrying hot sauce in her purse and calling black people super predators.
Agreed.
Agreed. I'm just saying.
Agreed. But it sounds like you drunk the Kool-Aid on this. That's my point.
Unless there's concrete fact that 15% of Trump supporters are racist.
No, it's not concrete fact. I never said it was.
I mean, you said that statement, but I mean, it's not like you said like for a fact that it was.
I never said it was a concrete fact. If I'm saying that, it's somewhat of an estimate. But I don't know.
But I mean, I can say the same thing. I think I would just say.
Siler, I'm going to let you go because there are probably going to be other people who want to talk, and I think people are tired of this conversation. So thank you very much for calling.
Time, man. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, man. Honestly.
You have a decent night, man.
You have a good. You too, man.
Bye. All right. So I'm not going to I'm going to end this. Is this Siler calling in video game? Yeah, that's Siler. That's real Siler. That's real Siler. This dude believes, what do you say? He believes Trump. Yeah, that's what I mean. I got some pictures of a Bigfoot to sell. He says I got pictures of a Bigfoot to sell. What's happening, Sebastian? How's it going, man?
This was the Tyler you were talking to, a secret agent. Just know that the real Tyler is someone else, but just letting you know in advance.
He's like a Russian agent who's calling.
Have a good one. Agent. Sorry, I just wanted to make the joke at the end.
That's hilarious. He's a Russian agent. It's like, I am Sylar and have this thick Russian accent. I'm Sylar. I'm the real Sylar. The other guy was an asshole. That guy's not Sylar.
That's comrade. Is Sylar. Have a good night.
Oh man, that's funny. Comrade Sylar. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. I want that guy to talk to 30 minutes too. Yeah, I want to talk to that guy for 30 minutes in a Russian accent. That's awesome. Halen Sinclair, Jamal got the clue about 30 minutes too late. No, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Look, if a Trump supporter wants to call, I'm okay with talking to a Trump supporter. All I ask is be honest. He doesn't like me saying that, but be honest. Donald Trump is not going to do anything about college because Donald Trump never said anything about college, nor, even if he did, he wasn't going to do anything about it. My point to him was, why on earth do you believe the Republican Party is going to do something about college? They wouldn't. And yet, you wouldn't answer that question honestly by saying no. That's my point. That was my point. And yeah, call the countdown clock wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, it's like, be honest. If I'm saying, is Donald Trump going to get big, beautiful health care for all and he's trying to get rid of Obamacare, then clearly he's not going to do Medicare for all. It's like, come on. Own up to that stuff. If that's your guy, that's your guy. Yeah. You spent all that time trying to understand someone who doesn't want to understand. Wow, Lisa Cartet. I want him to make his point. And I don't want anybody to ever call and say, well, I didn't get to make my case. No, I want you to make your case. I just want people to understand that your case is wrong. And if they're making that argument, I want them to make the best argument they can make. If that takes 20 minutes, then it takes 20 minutes. Roll into backups. Flies in the face. Have a decent night. Ouch. Chris Sean. HA clickbaiting 2 hours. Breaking host minds. Rapes call. TYT cucks don't understand Trump's greatness. I don't think anybody here loves TYT. I hear you, but term limits. Term limits. That's hilarious. Term limits. Not even a good night, a decent night. Yeah, that's funny. Dax Jacobson, Trump's budget proposal, more than $200 billion in cuts to students and whatnot. Yeah, that's why I don't get it. That's why I'm asking the question of, it's like, but wait a minute. Why do you believe this? And it's like, well, Donald Trump said it. Yeah, I know, but why do you believe this? Or even going to the thing of, but why do you believe he would do this? What has he shown you that he's an indication of doing this? He's doing Republican policy. Well, I mean, he never said it. Okay. Well, okay. Fair enough. He never said it. That's enough. That's all you need for it. There's no intuitiveness to it. Everyone is prone to change. Identity is a fluid aside from the stuff you don't have any control over. Fair enough. You have a lot more patience than me, JT. Adore Pariah. Look, if you and I are having a conversation, I don't want you to come away from the conversation saying I didn't get to make my point. If I look back on this call, I want to be able to say, this person had all the time in the world to make their case. And everybody and their mama could watch him make that case. And either they agree with his case or not. If I cut him off, then the first thing is, oh, dude, you didn't let me make my case. No, I want him to let him make his case. Beltazar, Jamal Telethon Thomas. Oh, jeez. Jamal, you got me messed up. Calling in sick tomorrow. Save Ricker. Why are you calling in sick? It's only 9 o'clock. Oh, unless you're somewhere else. You might be somewhere else. All the time in the world, indeed. I am Siler. Fake progressives. They call him fake progressive. That's funny. He doesn't even call himself progressive. Hey, Jamal, can I call you? No, dude. You've already called me once. He was a cheerleader for a side he didn't even understand, John. James Michael Jarvis. LOL. Look, I got to be honest. I don't understand how somebody flips over to Trump from being a lefty. I do understand it from the standpoint of throwing a brick through the window of the Democratic Party. I get it. Latching on to one thing. Yeah, I don't get it. Got enough rope to hang himself and did Danny Knapp. I am Siler got enough rope to hang himself and he did. Grant Carver's U.S. elites expect the debt to be repaid. They'll cut government everything and anything that serves the poor. I am Siler. Trademark pending. I have to be honest. That statement that you made, man, I ain't putting that shit on the t-shirt. That was awesome. That was awesome. I am Siler. That was atrocious. Oh, jeez. That's funny. Yeah, and right there. And that's where you get put on timeout. Yeah, we're not going to be racist and sexist. And I am Siler. I gave you the benefit of a long call against the will of my audience. You're not going to disrespect them. So, yeah. Siler isn't fake. He's a fool. I don't know what he is. But he is loyal. What, Michael Jarvis, he's loyal to HA. Yes, he is. He is extremely loyal to HA. And Donald Trump, oddly enough. I don't know why, but he certainly is. Face Scholar is a great screen name up for grabs. MJ Wing, Trump is paying the increased aid to Israel after he stopped the Paris Agreement. Israel has a universal health care. You know what's wild and funny about that? The argument that I jumped on the Trump train after he pulled out the Paris Accord. And it's like, what are you doing with the money? I have no idea, but I love it. Okay. But you understand that's a pittance. Yeah, I understand that. And you also understand we raised the military budget by $80 billion. Yes, I get that too. Then why do you care about the pittance for the climate accord? I don't know, but I don't want us to give it a pittance to other countries. Okay. James Michael Jarvis, he was drinking. Okay, that explains it. Beltazar, Guardians of the Trump starring I Am Siler. Yeah, dude, they're going to troll the shit out of you now. But to be fair, you've trolled them like nobody's business, so this is only fair. I'm not a Democrat. I would never vote for a Democrat, so you make no sense. Oh, Jet. We did at least determine Siler is probably not HA's mom, so I guess I have to admit I was wrong. Danny Knapp, you're right. That wasn't HA's mom. All right, guys, I'm gonna end this. I thought I was gonna end this like 48 minutes ago, if not longer, but nevertheless, I learned one thing listening to you. You are all simpletons, and God only recalls himself to select few. Oh, that's funny. I think when Jamal say being dishonest, I think he means you're not being intellectually honest. That's what I mean, Dax. Yeah, I don't mean he's lying. I mean he's not being. I think he's being biased, if that makes sense. He took it as saying I'm lying. I didn't think he was lying. I took it as you're not being intellectually honest. That's fine. Like it's if you ask me, if you say it's like if I say I think Bernie Sanders is playing 4-dimensional chess when he said vote for Hillary Clinton. No, I think he was knuckled under from political pressure. Does me saying I think he's playing 4-dimensional chess look good? Yes. Is it intellectually honest? No. He knuckled under. I hope that makes sense. There's a difference in those things. If I say Bernie Sanders is going to be president of the United States, and I do it in 2016 while he's in a primary with Hillary Clinton, and then afterwards I said, well, he should have been. He was cheated by Hillary Clinton. If he wasn't cheated, he'd be president. And somebody says that's clickbait. And I said, no. If Hillary Clinton hadn't cheated him, he would have beat Trump. He would have been president. It's like, yeah, but he didn't become president. He was cheated, and none of that you said took place. It's like, come on. Salah must have an infinity stone because he could talk in circles for infinity. Oh, that's funny. There's a lot of insecurities in him, and you aren't intellectually honest, though. He was super defensive about it. Yes, he was super defensive about it because he knew I was right deep down. It's like, and I don't understand why that's a problem to say. Is the Republican Party going to get behind Medicare for all? No, they're not. Why are we even having that conversation? No, they're not. They're never going to get behind Medicare for all. You can't even get Democrats to get behind Medicare for all. Why do you think Trump is going to push Medicare for all? He tried to destroy Obamacare. I mean, come on. His plan was Trump care. Like, this is not even, come on. This is not even like conjecture. This is factual reality of what took place. I kind of make the point that reality disagrees with you because the reality is he was pushing for Trump care. He was going to sign in Trump care, which was a shittier version than Obamacare. It's like, come on, let's be honest. Be honest. Shawari Kate, Vegan Planet, don't depend on replay. If you really had to be here to get the entirety of the experience we all just had, sort of like being on an acid trip going weird. I'm sorry, Shawari Kate. Look, guys, what I would do is I would start a time limit. So if somebody's pushing more than 5 minutes, I'll come short. I can do that. Jamal, I never heard your reviews of Infinity Wars, the similarities in today's society you were talking about in another video. Yeah, I do want to do that video, Anthony Reyes. I really want to do that video. Trump says 32 million get no health care. Yeah, that's the reality. That's me saying be honest. It's like, come on. He was pushing for Trump care. Trump care was going to cut health care for millions. Right now, millions of people are not going to get their health care based on what Republicans are doing in their office. If I'm asking you, do you believe Trump is going to give big, beautiful health care to everybody? And you tell me anything other than, well, who's trying to get Trump care or no. It's like, come on. Come on. Trump's not playing 40 chess. He's playing one-dimensional checkers. That's being polite, Balthazar. That's being polite. Hey, you high money buys power and politicians. The electoral process is for the chosen ones. That part I do believe is true. I love you all. Go vegan. What happened to the solidarity of no Saturday? I was ill. I felt miserable on Saturday. That's the only reason why. In fact, I may do that video next. And to be honest, I had my ideas of doing that video here because I thought, honestly, I thought this video was going to last all of 20 minutes. We're fucking 3 hours in. So I'm going to end this here. There were 130 people here for the experience. You guys are welcome. You guys need to thank Styler in the comments because he was here for it. I didn't know. I blocked you because you were being essentially homophobic. That's why I blocked you. So let's keep the shit real. Let's keep the shit real. And the fact is, nobody lied about you. Everybody is sitting here. Everybody heard the entirety of the conversation. There was nothing that anybody didn't hear. This is not like you and I having a personal conversation and then we go out and talk. Everybody could hear it. Everybody was here. Everybody was here. The reality of what you were talking about, maybe, you didn't hear it, but if you listen back, everything that I said was true. See, people are thanking you, Siler. And yeah, by the way, if you're being racist, sexist, homophobic, yeah, you get blocked. You get blocked. Is what it is. We're debunking your fact-free talk. Dax Jacobson. Yeah, he says you guys are lying about me. How the hell am I lying about you when everybody was here for it? It's like, how do you lie about somebody when the whole world, or at the very least hundreds of people could hear it? That's not called lying. That's called lying. I own a home in California. Proposition 13 keeps taxes down. Is Siler people? I don't know what that means. I'm subscribing for shits and giggles, just like Alex. That's hilarious. Thank you, Siler. People are thank you, Siler. Balthazar. I was racist, but that's because time-traveling Russians, robot aliens hacked my voice. Or better yet, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. Mexicans are rapists and drug dealers. But he didn't mean that. He just said that to be saying that. And he's playing to his base. So are you telling me that, yeah, dude, you're not making sense. I'm sorry, dude, you're not making sense. This sounds ridiculous. I think Mexicans are rapists and drug dealers, but he doesn't mean that. Okay, he doesn't mean it. Well, he's playing to his base. Okay, so you would agree with me that if somebody said they believe that Mexicans were rapists and drug dealers, they'd be racist. I mean, if you're saying he's playing to his base, then by virtue, you kind of say his base is racist. You can't have it both ways. Can't have it both ways. Can't wait to get the Siler shirt. Yeah, I need to look back over this to figure out what that was, because that's fucking hilarious. Bradley B. Rather racist than Hillary. Hillary is racist and so is Trump. RTJ. Do you remember that thing she had, like a plantation farm or something, where she had not slaves, but she had these she had prison inmates, and the prison inmates were like on the governor's mansion or something insane. Jamal is being dishonest. Okay, I'm being dishonest. Sure I am. Dude, you've had 30 minutes to talk. You've talked yourself into a circle. Everybody on this channel could see what you were saying, and I have to be honest, some of it made no sense at all. You wouldn't answer questions honestly. If I said, do you believe that Donald Trump is going to have medical stuff? You said, well, I don't know, because Donald Trump has never said anything, even though Donald Trump has tried to put out Trump Care. Trump Care gets rid of coverage for 30-something million people. But regardless of that, at the end of the day, he's still been cutting coverage for people. And at the very least, the policies of Obamacare. Let's not blame him for that. Let's just blame Republicans. But whatever. Shitty Obamacare, Trump wanted to make it worse. If I ask you, do you believe that Trump is going to have Medicare for all? And you answer, I don't know. And you try to put out Trump Care, then what are you being? What are you being? I asked you flat out, do you believe Trump is going to have free college for everything? That's something that you're supposed to believe in. You said, well, I don't know. And then you worked your way around to saying, well, Trump never promised that on the campaign trail. Okay, then why did it bother you to just say no? He never said that because he never said it on the campaign trail. I'm making a point that you could never answer these questions honestly. Now, you don't like me saying that, but that's true. I asked you one question after the next. And every question ended up being, well, I don't know because Trump, I'm not sure because Trump never said it. Trump never said it. Trump never said it. It's as if there is no 30 million more people, Jamal Thomas. It's as if there's no idea of what the person would do, if that makes sense. It's like, hey, does putting John Bolton mean you'd be more or less likely to attack Iran? More likely. Has he attacked Iran yet? No. Does it mean that putting those people in this position looks like he's more likely to do so? Yes. It's like, come on. Him running in the Republican Party. Trump's not a Republican. Trump is a Republican. He ran in the Republican Party. It's like all this stuff. It's like, come on. Come on. Jamal is psychic. I am bright enough to look at what people are doing and how people are affiliated to make a determination what people will be likely to do. Yes. That's called being a person. That's called being a person. Siler, put the corona down, bro. Yeah, he's on it. He's on it. He's had a few. Lisa Collette. That's why I don't waste that time. It's never enough for folks that can easily be cajoled to garbage. I try. I mean, I gave the benefit of the doubt. I try. Open the phone lines. I gave him a chance. He had a shot. Bud Light Holmes. Okay, Bud Light. Fair enough. I think Coronas are better, but Bud Light's fair enough. That's his cognitive dissonance. He wants to believe Trump is better than he is. Look, I don't fault him on this. If that I know that sounds strange, but I don't fault him on this. You have one party that claimed to care about the poor, claimed to care about the middle class, claimed to care about jobs, that claimed to care about the homeless population, that claimed to care about education and healthcare. You care all these things. Oh, we love all of these people. We love everybody. We want to do the best thing for everybody else. And they failed. Throughout the country, they failed. The area that he's in, California, failed miserably. The homeless population in California is enough by itself to get across this thing that these lefties are in power and these lefties are not doing enough to make sure that the people in their society are kept well. And you can understand that if you put Democrats in office and Democrats are saying XYZ and they don't deliver on that, what happens? The other party usurps those people, and they usurp those people not because of anything that the other people did. Meaning, he's not insane for saying that Donald Trump seems different, and he's not insane for saying the Democratic Party failed. They failed. On that, I don't fault him. Clearly, he doesn't fully love Trump. He's not drinking Coors Light. John, Bud is global as beer. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. We need to reach out to people like Siler to heal the nation. Call him. That I do believe. That I do believe. If you ask me why I take the call, if you ask me why I waste the time or take the time, look, they're Americans. They're just like us. They may have difference of opinion, difference of ideas, and everything else. If he's right, if he's not just fucking around, if he's actually having lefty values and everything else, I don't necessarily know how you have lefty values and back up Trump, but whatever. If he's supposed to have lefty values and he's backing up Trump, then he's not completely impossible to reach. It's just that there's nobody to reach him. Like there's like who do you back? Honestly, who do you back? And are you in a situation where you can back nobody? How does it feel to back nobody? I don't back anybody. I have nobody to back. That feels weird and awkward. You have a binary process of Democrats and Republicans. You have Donald Trump in one of the processes. He looks different in the same way that Obama looked different to lefties. People jump on board. People jump on board. So, all right, guys. I am solid. It is not hard to comprehend you, Jamal. Okay, good. Fair enough. Grimhold, we're progressive. You're a right winger. Yeah, I think he's a right winger. I think he may be joking. It's progressive stuff. Beltazar, PBR is beer of choice for those not visited by Hillary. Oh, that's funny. Nikki M. Jill Stein. Jill Stein is nice, but the Green Party has issues. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to get into a war about Jill Stein voters. But there's structural parties with Jill Stein. I voted for Jill Stein, by the way. And I like her. I love her. She holds her shape. Love her, all that. Oh, she's awesome. I would love to have her on my show. I would love to have her for a conversation. All that stuff is true. But the Green Party has issues. I just say it that way. The Green Party has issues that it needs to deal with. It has issues. All right, guys. This has gone for 3 hours. Literally 3 hours. This is... He's calling people fake progressives. You want to call me an Uncle Tom? Do it. Can we not do that, guys? I mean, by the same token, Skylar, don't call people bad names either. That goes both ways. I'm always tripped out by right wingers. So the moment you call them something, like, oh my God, he said something about me. He said something about me. Right, they be calling people cucks and all these other names and everything else. And the moment you say something to them, it's like, how dare you, sir? Siler, yeah, I kick you out of the channel when you're being racist or sexist. And now you may say, oh, that's not being racist, which gives me this kind of scale of what that means, to be honest. So yeah, there's that. That's my policy. If you wonder what my policy is on speech, don't be racist, don't be sexist, don't be anti-Semitic. And by the way, I'm more flexible on this than a lot of lefties. I don't have this thing of I don't jump on this bandwagon of that some lefties do, of this like the tepid stuff or the stuff that's in an intermediary. But if you're dropping the F word, then yeah, you're getting kicked out. You're getting kicked out. If you drop the N word, you're getting kicked out. If you're being anti-Semitic, you're getting kicked out. We can have these political discourse without you being pricks or cucks. All right, guys. Oy vey. Oy vey is right. All right, I'll let him hear that one. I like calling him Giuliani. He's where he is because he fed off the corpse in 9/11. Oh, dude, you're so right. You're so right. Like everything, like Giuliani used to say stuff, and every other word was 9/11. Every other word. He's absolutely right. Shawari Kate. No, my wife's here. They're here. I can hear them. I can hear them. They're out there. I'm about to go in. I am Salah. Can I mirror the video? If you want to, dude. I can't stop you. I can't stop you. I mean, it's YouTube. It's your choice. Giuliani married his second cousin. No, are you serious? No, he didn't. I don't know if that's true. John, all the hate is in the bottom row for Giuliani's. Oh, that's fucking hilarious. All right, guys, we're in 3 hours. I really wanted to do another video today, but that's probably not going to happen. Yeah, Gardnome, you missed a good one. You missed a good one. You missed a fuck fest. You missed an absolute fuck fest. Thanks for being here tonight. I know, right? Don't feed the trolls. Dash. I think I'll believe you on that one. Don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna end this. Gardnome, it's too bad, dude. You got here late. I'm sorry, man. It's been like 3 hours. This was fuck fest. My energies are depleted. Harlan Sinclair. Jamal believes that more than Bernie and Larry are related. What? More than Bernie? I don't know what that one means. You missed it, but don't bother watching. It was one of those you had to be here episodes for the full-on experience. Yeah. Was it 420? Oh, fuck no. We're not having a 420. It's 9:30. It's almost 9:30. Silas is going to call the video TYT Cucks Destroy. Oh, Dax Jacobson. People don't like being called racist or Trump supporters, but at some point, it fits. The hood fits. The hood fits. That's hilarious. Yeah, so I can't stop you from mirroring the video, dude. I mean, people do it all the time. Yeah, it's up to you. Giuliani acted like he did. Oh, actually did marry his second cousin. Wow, I did not know that. That's fucking awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to end this here. You all have a good night. I'm going to go check on my wife. I hear my mama out there, so I want to make sure she's okay. This was a doozy. I probably cut this video. I'm thinking of probably cutting it up to the point where call in and everything else. But do more of these, Jamal, so I can call you, please. John. Yeah, that's fine. Balthazar Jamal, I'm going to edit this video, Thomas. Yeah, it's like it's fucking 3 hours long. Nobody's going to watch a 3 hour video. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to cut it in 2 parts. I'm going to put Sailor's part on because one was Moment in the Sun. And I'll cut the other part where I gave my spiel. So, all right, guys. You all have a decent night. I hope you enjoyed the fuck fest. Separate the fake caller with the real one. Yeah. I am. I'm not gonna put in the troll. I leave out the troll. Trolls don't get airtime in this way. All right, guys. You all have a good night. If you enjoy the content, please feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, you can always support through Patreon. And let's see. Jesus Christ. Balthazar, I am Siler, Bernard Foster, Red Economics. Good looking out, Red Economics. I am Siler, and a bunch for I am Siler, Danny Knapp. And by the way, I felt weird with I am Siler having, like, Jesus Christ, I am Siler. You had some feelings, man. Yeah, you had some serious feelings. And, look, guys, I am Siler, regardless of whatever you want to think I am Siler is, he supports the show. Like, whatever you want to call him. You might call him a troll or whatever else. He helps support the show. So I appreciate it. Thank you, dude. Yes, we have disagreements on some of this stuff. I'm not in the camp that believes that Trump supporters are unreachable. I'm just not. I think if you focus on the economic stuff, I think you can bring them aboard. I think if you focus on the identity stuff, you're going to lose them. I honestly think that. Whether it's Siler or anybody else. I honestly think that. I think if you and I, or we're having a conversation, and we're talking about, let's say, a perfect example. Let's say if we say, look, we're going to make sure that people get a decent job. Meaning, we're going to have a federal job guarantee that's going to pay us for them out. Now, you may have some people who are like, oh, how much is that going to cost? That sucks, et cetera, et cetera. But those independents, the 50% of independents, are the people who don't vote. What percentage of those people are going to be enticed by that? This bold economic plan of trying to get all these people back to work. The minimum wage thing is nonsense. That's calling people up and asking them are they employed or not. That doesn't really give you a real minimum wage estimate. That number is somewhat fudged. I'm talking about the real thing of how many people are in poverty, how many people are have shitty jobs that they particularly hate. That number is 50%. 50% of the workers in this country are service jobs. Is a service job a job that you can raise a family and have a decent life off? No. No. So, I appreciate all of your help for the show, guys. That's all I'm saying. Thank you very much. You guys have a nice night. And I am Siler. We're trolling you because we've trolled a lot of people in this audience. So understand, this is intentional. But I thank you for calling in. And what I mean by that is, it's a civil call. No, Jamal Belly insulted HJ and Siler went apeshit. Yeah, I haven't insulted HJ. Can't handle my opinion. Get wrecked. That's funny. No, I appreciate you calling in. I know I should have put a time limit on it because, of course, I have an audience and the audience is going to watch it. But I appreciate you calling in. I've had other people call in who disagree with me before, so it's what it is. So, thanks, guys. You all have a good night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.